What we do here is go back. What we do here is go back.
And there we go, hopefully we are live, and yeah, that looks okay-ish, I think. Is George downloading porn? It does seem to be buffering. I've been looking at the settings and for some reason my screen is buffering. Let's see how it goes. Hopefully you can all hear me and see me. Ugly Bob says, can hear you and see you fine, thank you. Charles says live and audio is in sync. That's good. Warren Do says, yeah, it's been stuttering here. I did just cancel the stream, then restart it with a different preset for the encoder. I'm really not sure what is going on. It's very strange. All week the system seems to be brilliant, but I keep on seeing some weird stuff on the screen and I have no idea what it's like. So far so good. Yeah, it looks like I've completely frozen on there. Or is that just me? Could be just me. Anyway, it is Saturday the... Oh, piss off, Siri. It is Saturday the 23rd of March 2024. Hopefully you're all having a fantastic evening. And hello to those of you that are already in the chat. There's quite a few of you in there already, so happy day. Willie Bob says, all good. Looks a tad washed out than normal. I think that's just me. Actually, no, it does look washed out. There's something very, very weird going on. I can't understand what it is. It's very, very frustrating. I don't get it. Ugly Bob's coming to super chat every day. I'm buffering. Yeah, it does seem that way. I have no idea what was going on. Oh, I've done my back in a little bit and it's hurting. So if I'm wincing or doing anything, do apologise, but it's a bit painful. It's weird, I went from a pain which was on my left hand side in my back and it's now gone through and it's on my right hand side, so hopefully it's kind of passing its way through. Thank you for the super chat, Bob. Did I even click on it? I might have done. Did I? There we go. Hopefully it's working.
And the other one.
Yeah, at least something's working. And thank you for the previous super chat as well. Still not no idea why the system is buffering. We should have more than sufficient internet. Like Kath's got 200 tabs open in Chrome, but that shouldn't make a difference because they should all be just disabled. Well, not disabled, but not running unless you're actually on the screen. While Bill says just popped in to say good evening quickly, I'll be back later. Have to dash to Tesco's. Now be good children. No guarantees of that. So, Rick H says I think it looks better, not so dark. What is, I can hear the fans ramping up in the system. What is going on? What is killing the system? 20%. I wonder if it is the overhead camera which is taking up processing. You never know. Anyway. Here we go. Let's have a drink actually. Before we get things started, let's have a drink. I've just had we had a pizza, went to the shops and there was basically nothing there which was of any interest. So we ordered a pizza and now I'm salted right out and indigestion to the max. Ate too quickly. Neo Regia says, hi Mike, would you be able to make a comparison between AliExpress Radeon 5700 XT, Radeon 6600M and Intel Arc A750 8GB? I wouldn't be able to because I have none of those video cards, but I would say realistically they're probably all going to be very similar. I would suspect that the 5700 XT possibly is the stronger contender there. Depending on the game, the Arc A750 does get some really good numbers in some titles, but it's one of those things where it's very intermittent. So some games are awful or not great, some games are fine, some games are absolutely excellent. But Intel Arc is getting better and better every single driver update. So it's potentially the Arc series, actually, the A750 and the A770 specifically, and probably the A580 as well. They've all got the potential because they are massive dies. So they've got a lot of power there, it's just not being utilised. So as drivers go on and programmers learn to kind of program for its strong points, it could actually end up being the best of the bunch, which is actually quite an interesting theory to have. But yeah, potentially it could be. There is a lot of power that is just untapped at the moment, which is good. Mark Barry says just had a curry and a pint of Guinness. Lovely jubbly. Rick H says back to an AIO. Yeah, stupidly, I don't know why I do it. I did have the air cooler in the PC at the back, and I was just doing some things and I thought, oh, I'll put the Thermaltake cooler in there. It's been a long time since I've had it in there. Put it back in there. I kind of like the look of it. And now I've got a bunch of CPU coolers which I need to test, which I could ideally do with testing on there. But taking an AIO out is no kind of small feat. It took actually ages to do it. So, yes, I don't know. Just, at the moment, everything seems to be very much like I take 1 or 2 steps forward and take a couple of steps backwards. So whatever I tend to want to do, like for a video, I think, right, I'll do this, and then I realise, oh, I haven't got that part, or I haven't got this motherboard, or I don't have the RAM to do that. So this week, actually, I've kind of tried to remedy some of that, because it's coming towards the end of the tax year for us here in the UK. So it's time to kind of make a few purchases, investments, and what have you, because ultimately, profits that you make, you pay tax on. So if you take away some of your profits, there's less to pay tax on. So effectively, in some weird way, you're saving kind of 30% on your purchase prices, which is actually quite useful because at the moment there's a lot of things which are absolutely hideous prices, but I suppose they are kind of necessities in some respects, so good to do it. So we'll talk about those. Obviously the headline of the video is more sort of budget mid-range boards. I've actually got 2 which I've picked up. These are literally been delivered today, which is why we're getting the stream ready, and it was a little bit kind of like, is this going to happen or is it not? So yeah, these arrived quite late, so you'll be seeing these basically the same time as me. So we've got the MSI B650 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi. This at the moment on Amazon.co.uk is £149.99, which actually I think is a very good price. It does have a few slight downsides, but majority of it is all positives. Plenty of USBs, you've got Wi-Fi 6E, you've got 2.5 gigabit LAN, the usual MSI refineries, so nice MSI center for setting up your peripherals. controlling your RGB, all that kind of stuff, controlling the fans, which if you've watched the channel long enough, you'll know that I'm a big fan of MSI Center. And I think I'm becoming more and more of a convert to it. I've tried using a few more boards very recently, ASRock boards and Gigabyte boards especially. And I've got to be honest with you, I really do not like the RGB and fan control solutions for either of those setups. Now ASUS I think is a strong runner-up. Armoury Crate is slowly getting better, especially for the more modern boards. For the older boards it still sucks, but for the more modern chipsets where it actually supports Armoury Crate properly, fully, like fan control, RGB, the whole shooting match, it does much better. So MSI B650 Gaming plus Wi-Fi, this is going to be a cracking system when I come around to actually building it. Then also somewhat of a kind of last hurrah in some respects for the AMD AM4 socket. So this is the ROG Strix B550-A Gaming. Now this was actually on sale on Amazon this week for just a smidgen over £100, which for a Strix board, especially a B550, is an extremely impressive price. And it's actually a very nice looking motherboard. So we'll be taking some closer looks at that. This was a board that I thought I actually had here already, under the desk in all the muck. There's a super chat coming in from David Aitken, £2, says, Hola, como estás, mothers? I can do the English part reasonably well. It's the Spanish I struggle with. Struggle with English, to be fair. Kenny D says, hi Mike and everybody, how you doing? Viali100 says, I got an ASUS ROG Crosshair 8 Hero off eBay. Just got to get the socket replaced, cost me 80 quid. That's a lot of money. Kenny D says, if we were talking about motherboard software, I despise ASRock's RGB software. Polychrome is god awful. I agree. ASUS's, sorry, ASRock's fan control is okay. You can live with it, but the Polychrome sync is an absolute crock. I don't care what anyone says. Like, I quite like ASRock products in general. They tend to be quite decent budget offerings, but the software is absolutely atrocious. I think it is written by like a 10-year-old. Now that is not being offensive to young people, because young people in general are very good, but I probably wouldn't want a 10-year-old to write the software for my multi-million or multi-billion pound business empire to control their RGB lighting. It's absolutely horrendous. It's buggy as all hell, takes ages to start, and generally doesn't work. So I'm not very happy with that. G Rich says, hi Mike, Kath and Mub family. And Dave says, ASRock's desktop applications for AM4 were terrible, felt like 2010 era programs. I would say it's even older than that. It just seems, it's like someone's done an NVIDIA on them. Anyway, so we've got that as well. I think that's potentially a very good bargain, but being it is from the Amazon warehouse side of things, yeah, it might be completely knackered. So we'll be going through, doing an unboxing on that, seeing what's actually been included. In the description for the product, it said that it's missing screws and cables, and the packaging might show signs of wear. But the packaging, I think, actually looks pretty okay. So we'll have a close look at that. We'll put a processor on, see if it will actually post. That is going to be the key things. If it posts, there's a fighting chance the rest of it's going to be okay. If we get any errors, then yeah, could be a return job. This one, brand spanking new, $149.99. I think it's actually a really good choice. I do like what MSI are doing recently, especially with their Gaming Plus range. They seem to have unified it, so if you buy a kind of a Z-Class board or Intel or AMD, doesn't matter what it is, it will still have this sort of packaging and this kind of design language that they've got going on, which is a little bit over the top, to be honest. I'd prefer it to be a little plainer, but I don't know, it's quite nice as well. But we'll have a close look at the board later on in the stream to coincide with these two, because I've got RAM, but I've got a very much a dilemma. And actually I needed to speak to Kath about this, which I haven't yet, so I will do as well. But there's certain RAM that I've been sent over the years which kind of has its own sentimental value. So RAM obviously is a commodity, so it has a certain value on the market at any given time. It has been very cheap. It's now starting to pick up again in price. Hence why I've bought some more RAM, because it's getting to the point now where some of it is actually cheaper to buy, and it's nice to keep hold of some of the stuff. Now I have got some RAM from V-Color, which was sent through, and it's actually been personalized, so it's got the Mike's Unboxing logo actually on the RAM. And despite the fact I don't even use it, it's still in the box. I don't want to put it into a build or to sell it, because it has got the logo on, and it's kind of nice. What do you think? Do you think we should keep it? You don't care really, do you, or do you?
Not really.
What, you don't? You don't really care? Yeah. See, I've got a bit of a sentimental value. Let me grab it a minute and I'll show you what it's like. It's actually very, very subtle. Like, you wouldn't really know it was there unless someone pointed it out. But that isn't the point. The point is that it is there. And it is behind there somewhere, I think. Where are you? I'll tell you what, it's bloody warm up here. The heat is definitely rising. There should be some... Oh, there it is as well. Bear with me, coolers. Actually, I'll keep that down because I'll probably need that later. Don't think I'm going to need those. Might need those CPUs later. Go back on the shelf. There we go. Okay. Oh, and actually, just so that I'm pretty sure it was Patrick who sent this before. Patrick LaBelle, 3D printer extraordinaire. Actually printed this out as well, which is NVMe and M.2 caddy, like a desktop caddy. So you can just put your spare sticks or whatever that you're not using into a little caddy, 3D printed. So I am actually using it. I didn't know where it was for a while because it's very small and I kind of misplaced it, but I have found it. So I mean, that's good. So this is the RAM. This is from V-Color. So this is DDR4, but it's 4266. So this is, well, very expensive RAM. 4266 is way, way, way outside of the sweet spot for AM4 processors. Realistically, kind of 3600, maybe 3800 is where you'd kind of want to be. So this is, yeah, it actually isn't much use, to be fair, unless you have a system which specifically needs it. But this is the V-Color. Actually, it's a very boring box. So you get two lots in here. So you get the RGB dummy kit, which is this one, and you get the Prism Pro memory kit. Now, I'm not too sure which one actually has the printing on. I think it's probably going to be the dummy kit. Well, I could be wrong. That says V-Color, V-Color. Right, so it was a 50-50 and I failed miserably. So it is actually on the DRAM itself. I guess that makes sense because if people were buying it, it would be on there. And yeah, there we go. So this is extremely, and I mean extremely discreet, but I kind of like it. So I'm going to show you in front of the camera. Hopefully you can see that okay. You can see there, it says Mike's Unboxing. I'll point it out just for those of you because it is tiny. So it's on there, Mike's Unboxing. And they're kind of nice looking RAM sticks as well. So I do have somewhat of a soft spot for those, even though I'm not using them. And to be honest with you, I probably never will use them. And it is, I think it's a 32 gig kit as well, which for DDR4 is a little bit more unusual. But it kind of got that sentimental value. So although it's probably a valuable set of RAM, and I do quite like it, I haven't, as at present, really got a use for it. So I don't know. Dutch Jan says soon we can build a mic PC. Wouldn't that be cool? I would love to design a case actually, because there's so many cases on the market which just aren't really that good. Anyway, so there we go. That's my thoughts on that. I have no idea actually how much that is worth. I probably should look it up to see what it is worth.
The person that sent it to us no longer works there.
Yeah, the person that works at V-Color doesn't work there anymore, so they've moved on to other things. And it's a very nice set of RAM. So I think I can't really sell it as a separate thing because of the branding, although I think I could probably remove it, to be honest with you, if I had to, even put a sticker over it or something, like an XMP generic sticker, and get rid of it. But at the same time, it's personalized. And looking back on the kind of the YouTube journey of over things we've done and things we've had and what have you, it's kind of nice to have things like this just to look back on. But then again, it is a massive waste of a decent resource. So I need to find something to use this in. I might end up putting it actually in the Mike's Unboxing Mini ITX PC with the Intel, what was it, the 12400 in the case that Patrick Lavelle printed us. Because I think that way then is a good way of actually keeping hold of the RAM, and also this is branded as is that case because it's got our logo on it. That's an idea which has just come to me, so potentially I might do that. I might do that. Although 4266 RAM on an Intel H610 chipset is stupid to beyond belief, because the best case scenario is only going to run at what, 20 or maybe 3200. Might be able to get 3200 out of it. But I think it probably would be better in that little mini ITX PC, which is still a work in progress. Even though we assembled it and you saw the video, I have actually taken it all apart again because I am still wanting to put a better graphics card in there, which I haven't got yet. So Matthew Day says, or you need a fish tank case so you can see the RAM. See, that is another potential thing. Putting it in that little PC case would be nice, but then you'd never see the RAM. You'd see the glow from it, but you'd never see it. Anyway, I don't know. So that is my dilemma with that. So obviously I didn't want to use that for a PC which I'm going to be building up and doing stuff with and possibly selling on after I finish messing around with it. So at the moment, DDR4 is expensive. This was a really good deal back in the summer of last year, I think it was. So this is the KLEVV CRAS X RGB. At one point during last summer, I'm pretty sure this went down to something like £28, £29 for a 16 gig kit. It's not the fastest. It's DDR 3200, I think. Remember rightly? Yeah, this is 3200. They did a 3600 as well. CAS latency on this, I think, is CL16. Yeah, CL16 DDR 3200, which actually is a pretty nice place to be. That's quite a nice CAS rating for what it is. And this cost recently, I think I paid £36 for this yesterday. So £36 when we're having somewhat of a DDR4 and 5 price increase seemed actually quite reasonable. Now, links for all this stuff I'm talking about is in the video description already. CAF has taken the time and effort to do it. So click on the bloody links and buy some stuff. That makes CAF happy. So yeah, that is the RAM I bought. And actually this is really nice looking RAM as well. This also was Amazon warehouse. But it appears that the security tag is still intact on the top and also the bottom. So I don't know what the deal is with this. Maybe someone ordered it and just realised they've got a DDR5 system, not a DDR4, so it was sent back. So I think that is actually a very good sign, the fact that it is still security sealed, both ends, because you can't really take it out any easier. So that is going to be part of the ASUS system, so that's going to go with that. Let's move that out of the way shortly. For the DDR5 system, now this is another problematic thing because DDR5 is expensive. And it's not getting any cheaper at the moment. It's actually going the opposite way. Now, I was really lucky, again, probably a few months ago, I picked up some of this, the Crucial DDR5 kit, but I got the non-pro version, at least I think it was. Slower timings, it was CL56, I think it was, no, it was 5600 megahertz, and it was something like CL40 maybe 38 or something. it wasn't the tightest timings, but it was a 32 gig kit, and I think I paid about £66, £67 maybe. I can't remember exactly. So it was, I'm sure it was definitely under 70. Because I thought, well, yeah, for that money, you can't go too far wrong, because most RAM at that time was about 100, 120. And the same is the case now. So DDR5, if you're buying now, realistically, for any reasonable brand, reasonable speeds, like 5600, 6000, 6200, maybe 6400, all of it is about 120 quid. Now, I was going to go for the Lexar Aries, but unfortunately there was a bit of a delay on those, so I went for this. This is the Crucial Pro DDR5 OC edition. Now, the reason why I went for this, two reasons actually. One, because it doesn't have RGB, which actually in some instances is a nice thing, because you don't have to worry about what software to kind of make everything coordinate, so that's good. But a very important thing, it supports both Intel XMP and it also supports AMD Expo. So it doesn't matter if I decide to put this in an Intel board or whether I put it in an AMD board, it's going to be absolutely fine either way, which is a very much one of those kind of gotcha things at the moment with DDR RAM. If you are buying Corsair RAM, for instance, they have significantly different SKUs or stock keeping units for their different types of RAM. So they'll list one as being IQ compatible Intel XMP, and then there'll be another one saying IQ AMD Expo. And in general, AMD stuff doesn't like regular XMP. It can work with it, and it is getting better, but in the earlier days of DDR5 and the AM5 platform, it was picky as all hell. So you really wanted to make sure you had RAM which had the Expo certification on it. It's less important now, but still, this come in at, I believe it's £95, so about £20 cheaper than most of the RGB variants, and supported both XMP and Expo, which for me was very important. And that is going to be pairing up with the B650 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi that we've got here. And also this is going to be getting a Ryzen 7 7700, which I picked up from AliExpress for less than £150, which was absolutely stunning value for money. It's not arrived yet, so that's going to be a little while, probably earlier into April, but I'm very much looking forward to that. That's going to be a cracking system, it really is. Yes, Kath?
Cool Cat's having it's a bit off topic, but having problems with PC, Discord.
I'll just read it for. Cool Cat, I would suggest go over into the KZZ. So that needs wiring going to the RGB controller. Best jump into the Discord, Cool Cat, and someone will help you out with that. I'll put the link in the video, in the chat, so you can jump on in. What?
I didn't have to tell you to do it.
I wasn't. No, Kath didn't have to tell me to press it.
Well done.
Cool Cat says, Mike, apart from the RGB lights not working, which I'm not too worried about, the whole project has been a huge success. Glad to hear it. Excellent news. Dutch Jan saying the KLEVV CRAS X RGB 16 gig kit is at the moment is €42. That's pretty good. David Aiken says, I love the KLEVV RGB kits. Yeah, I think they are pretty decent. I like them. When I looked at my Amazon buying history, the KLEVV, that particular kit, this is my 5th kit I've bought, I think it was. Either 5th or 6th. So, I don't like it having to re-buy stuff when I've already bought it before, because it just makes it hard work if I want to do a review or anything like that, because obviously I've done the video, so I'd have to find some other thing to talk about in the review. But this cost like £38 in the current market. Yeah, I was pretty pleased, and yeah, as Dave says, it does look very nice when it's illuminated. And in fact, I would say it's very close to what the V-Color RAM looks like in terms of illumination. It's got a very nice spread to it. I think it's like 10 RGBs. I think it's 10. So yeah, the color blend is very nice. Doesn't support Gen 2, unfortunately, but it does support pretty much everything else, including Ryzen Threadripper. Like you'd want to use that with Threadripper. Anyway. Andy Archer says 28 quid for the non-RGB kit. Happy days.
Earlier, Matthew Day said there's a $99.99 motherboard. It's B650.
$99.99.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was the...
Like
I'm
Wi-Fi.
trying to think which one it was. Matthew Day. Let's see if I can
You don't
find
say
that.
which one, just
Oh.
650.
Yeah, there was a B650. I think it was the B650-A or -M. One of those two. I was tempted to get that. But I was thinking, well, there's a lot of boards available. What's that? Is that Ugly Bob?
No.
Dave Aiken?
Yeah.
What's he put on there? Is it me? Or is it you with the cats?
No. It's just funny.
Sorry, there's a Discord picture that Dave sent. I can't see it from here.
It's very discreet.
Mark Marlowe says, hi all in the chat, we'll have to watch later at work. You might as well do it while you're getting paid for it. Ugly Bob says to Andy Archer, I'd pay extra for the non-RGB kit. Save your money, buy a permanent marker, says William Bowden. Dave says 32 gigs of 3600 KLEVV DDR4 was 52 quid yesterday. It was amazing. I didn't see that. 32 gigs of 3600 for 52 quid. I would have bought that. Okay, so other things that this week which we need to catch up on. Jason Woods, hi, how you doing? You're late.
We were late last week.
Other things this week. So Colin kindly sent us a card. So for those of you who've seen the Colin Hilton video about his PC upgrade, he sent this card. It says to Mike. Now that is the first thing. It does say just to Mike. It doesn't say to Kath, and it doesn't say to the cats either. So that's a little bit concerning, because they also took care of Colin while he was here. But he says, this is for a great PC that you so generously built for me, Colin. So thank you very much for that, Colin. Don't need to do that. It was a very pleasurable experience, although somewhat stressful at the same time. But stress and pleasure is a thing that sometimes go together. It's that pleasure-pain thing of building a PC, which we all get.
Dave Aiken said it was on the Bargains chat.
Oh, was it? I must have missed that. I've been busy.
Oh yeah, another thing this week. Dave Aiken's birthday.
Oh yeah, another thing this week. Dave Aiken's birthday. So he is now 32 years young.
You might not want that out there.
Dave's 21 again this year. Sorry. Well, I didn't give away his home address and all that, did I? Because that is. Yeah, so Dave's birthday this week, so happy birthday to you. There was somebody else who had a birthday as well. Can't think who it was. Was there someone else who had a birthday? I'm trying to think.
Slidey that was, babies.
There was... oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
there.
I'm sure there was another birthday. Gary Brown, who I used to work with years ago, who was the head of design at BBC Casualty for a while. Happy birthday to you, because it is your birthday today. So if for any reason you're watching, or your sons are watching, of which there are many, or if any of Gary's family, which there are even more, happy birthday to you, sir. I'm trying to work out how old you must have been, because I remember going to your 50th birthday party about 10 or so plus years ago. So you must be about 62, 63. I don't know. Not too sure. Sorry, I'm just reading through the chat now. What else have we done this week? Oh, this week as well. Finally, I'm not sure if I can't really show it because it's down there. But for those of you in the Discord, I did post a picture in there. I finally switched over my PC. Now, when Colin did his upgrade from his existing system to a new one, he changed cases because he didn't like his previous LAN Cool 3 case because it was too big, too heavy, difficult for him to move around. And when you get older, or if you've got any kind of disabilities, you get a bad back or whatever, the LAN Cool 3 is an absolute beast of a case. It's a heavy... I'm not going to say it, but it's heavy. It's like, I think it's like 20 kilos before you can put anything in it. It's ridiculous. So Colin kindly said, like, do you want it? I was like, well, I kind of do. I like the LAN cases. They're very heavy and bulky, but fortunately, I generally tend to leave my PC over there just working away. So I've finally done the transfer. So I've taken all of my stuff out of the Lianli 216, which I'm also very keen on. Put all my stuff in the LAN Cool 3. So that's all up and running. So that is kind of the reason why a lot of this stuff is happening. So I think the B650 is probably going to end up going in the Lianli 216. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do about the B550. I need some ideas for a case, a cheap and cheerful case, because I think that is going to make more sense for that particular system. I've also bought a graphics card for it as well, so I've got an MSI RX 6600 coming, which is the Ventus 2 edition, so it's quite small, but it was a bit cheap, so about £140 for a RX 6600, which is quite a nice little GPU. Sells well, they get a lot of decent feedback. They didn't when they came out, when they were like £300 for obvious reasons, but now they're down to like 150 to 200. Much better product for the money, and considering what else is on the market at the moment, there isn't really a great deal anyway. So that is going to be a lovely little build. I'm wishing now there was the option of the ASUS what do they call it, twin ASUS dual, the ASUS dual version of the RX 6600, which would have went perfect with that motherboard
if it works.
If it works. We still haven't got around to that. So, yeah, we'll see. David Summerhill says he's 70 in November. Underhill, sorry. It's been a long day. It's been a really long week. I have...
just wishing summer on us, aren't you?
I'm finally getting over my cold. I've still got a little bit of a chesty, whatever it is, cough going on, which is much better actually now. Thank you for asking. Not that you did. But... yeah, feeling much better. The cold is pretty much completely gone, but still some of the kind of the residual crap in like the, what do they call it, like post-viral fatigue, where you just feel a bit like, ugh. And also the fact that it's coming to the end of winter. We are officially in spring now. Spring has sprung. But it hasn't. But it hasn't. It's fecking freezing here.
The north wind.
Getting colder. We've got a really chilly north wind coming, and they reckon there's like a 200-mile wall of snow due to hit the country over the next 7 days. So it's not looking great. So yeah, that is that. Andy Archer says, how's the Works PC, Mike? The Works PC has gone back to work, and stupidly, even though like it's basically as brand new now, they've put it on the desk at the back. So basically in the shop where I work, there's three PCs in total. There's one which is a till, don't really touch that. There's one which is the PC parts lookup, and for emails and just looking at random stuff or watching YouTube and the boss isn't there. And then there's the back desk PC, which is more for doing like accounts, emails, or if you're at your lunch, you just sit there. You can use the computer, browse the internet, etc. So the older PC used to be on the back desk. The newer PC, the one I fixed, was on the front counter for looking at PC parts. But because I took it away, they used the other one, which I built as well, with a Athlon 3000G, I think it was in there, and they find that faster. So they've actually kept that now on the front desk, and the one that I fixed is now gone onto the back desk for doing like accounts and stuff. So yeah, it's I shouldn't really bother doing it as quickly as I did. And also I should say as well, thank you Colin Hilton for the air duster, which was in use during that. A very cool little air duster. Like that a lot. It's very impressive, and the cats don't hate it. Otis does, but he hates everything. So yeah, Matthew Day says, how is the 3000G faster? I don't know. It's the other processor. The other PC is a Ryzen 3 2200G. So I suppose 2200G versus a 3000G. I suppose it is swings and roundabouts. The 3000G is a dual core 4-thread, I think. I'm not too sure actually what a 3000G is, but they like it, they're happy with it, so I built both PCs anyway, so I don't really care whichever way it's gone. Good evening, Glenn. How you doing? Kiefer says, I see the Series 500 case behind you. Really enjoy my own Series 300. Can't believe they want 270 Canadian dollars for the side panel monitor. I said in the review, it's a stupid price. It's an absolutely stupid price. There's no way on God's green earth that LCD panel is worth almost the same money as the case. And in some instances, I think the case has come down in price. So, actually no, I'm thinking of the Series 300. The Series 500 I think is pretty much stayed at its price. The Series 300 over here now is a bit cheaper. I think you can get it for either 79 or 89 pounds, down from the original 100. But anyway, yeah, it's an absolutely ridiculous price. It genuinely is. Mike P is waving a flag versus BR football. Oh, apparently there was an England match tonight, I think.
Bristol Rovers.
Bristol Rovers versus Turkey, was it, or something? I don't know. No idea. Roderick was in the Adamant IT chat earlier. Yes, I did see. Dave Nakin says the Montec 903 Max, used that for the render farm, was brilliant for $59.99. Right, that might be it then. Montec 903. I might try that. Rick H says I'm saving up for the Tower 300. Tower 300 is a really nice case. If you don't mind the whole kind of weird I/O positioning, yeah, it's a great case. Because I plug stuff in and out all the time, literally on a daily basis, I think I would, yeah, it would do my head in. So any of the inverted cases for me are a little bit of a no-go. Atomic Sub says it was Brazil. Yeah, I knew that. I was just messing. I'm sure there was something else we had to say or do. What else we had in? So other products we've had in, which I've started doing reviews on. We had the... Actually, this is part of the reason why this is going on. So we've got the Arctic Freezer 36 ARGB in white. This is actually a really cool cooler, excuse the pun-ish. It wasn't intended. I'm not too sure if did we look at this in last week's stream? Or did it arrive Monday or Tuesday? I'm not sure when this arrived. Maybe we discussed it, maybe not, I'm not sure. I think I might have ordered it on Sunday.
What we talking, sorry?
Excuse me.
I don't think it was scary.
No. Welly Bob says, saw it last week.
Oh, maybe it was.
Right, maybe it was then. I can't remember myself. But actually, yeah, I've now got to grips. I've done it installs on Intel and I've done it on AMD as well. Still blows my mind the two separate wires coming out in separate places. That I don't know. It just seems like it makes life much more difficult. But I actually really do like the fact that there's no spring clips and it just pushes on. How long these clips are going to last for, I don't know. And it kind of makes the whole thing of having the anti-vibration pads kind of useless, because it is a direct connection which doesn't really use the pads at all. So noise-wise, as time goes on, I think this is going to be possibly getting a little bit on the naughty side when it comes to being loud and vibrating. But I think it looks like a very nice cooler. At the moment, you can pick these up on Amazon.co.uk. I think this specific one was £23.70 something. So for under 25 quid, basically, yeah, it's a cracking cooler. The dual fan setup. You could, in theory, if you wanted to, you don't have to use the back fan. It doesn't make a great deal of difference. So if you needed an extra case fan, like these are about 7-8 quid on their own, if not more. So if you wanted a fan for the back and you wanted that, whatever, it's a pretty decent value for money proposition there. And the fans are actually very good. And they do support 0 RPM and all that kind of nonsense. So anyway, been playing with those this week. And there will be a review going out shortly. I'm undecided whether or not I'm going to go the full hog and test it on Intel and AMD in terms of temperatures. Because I think if you're buying this for Intel, it's probably not the best idea. Especially if you've got like a really high-end Intel processor. The mounting pressure doesn't appear to be quite as good. But for AMD, these are cracking because the actual very small section that it's got for the heat pipes is basically exactly the same size as the AMD die. So for AMD processors, it does seem to work much better.
You James, first time with us.
James Miscellaneous is doing some housework. Who's that, sorry?
Yours.
Yules, how you doing? It says first time live with Mike. How you doing? Actually, while we're at it, we have got some memberships to give away. So let's get Kath to do that. Earn her keep, so to speak. And she's doing it. So we're going to give away some free memberships. So you'll get access to Mike's unboxing videos a couple of weeks earlier, or a week earlier at least. So there you go. There's 5 gifted memberships to Roderick Kennedy. CFQ Tough Enough. I probably butchered that.
Tough enough.
Ashley Strachan, Wayne Evans, and Inky1919. You've all been gifted memberships. Ugly Bob says, let's get to 69 likes. Nice. And I'll give some gift memberships as well. So there you go.
Didn't say nice though.
I know.
You
That's
added
a
that,
that's a YouTube thing that you've got to say. It's the law. I've watched the videos. They show it. What else have I got here which I'm supposed to discuss or talk about? Talk about stuff.
Says thanks.
You're very welcome. That's what I was looking for as well. Just to show you the similarities. So there is the Z790 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi, and there is the B650 Gaming Plus. So as you can see, it's a very similar design in terms of the packaging and also the board itself. If you look on there, you probably can't see it particularly well, but the boards themselves, like things like the heat sinks with the Gaming Plus logos on and what have you.
Oh, nearly everyone who won it is in the chat.
That's good. Glad to hear it.
And Dave Aiken says we all love Ugly Bob's special 69 reward.
Oh, Ugly Bob's special 69 reward.
What did I nearly buy in the shop this week just because they were 69p?
What was, I can't remember what it was.
No, it's mine. It's like,
There was something in the shop which was reduced to 69p, and it's something that me and Kath didn't actually want, but Kath's like, shall we? Just so we can send a picture to Bob. Dutch Jan says, anyone else interested in a soldering job? Not a chance in hell. Was it a 4-finger Kit Kat? I think it might have been actually. It was something like that. It was something Nestle, wasn't it?
I don't think it was. I wouldn't have considered. I wouldn't let George buy Milky Bar.
Dave says, I think it was a cocktail sausage.
No, something in
It
the
was
bakery.
cold.
It was something in the bakery bit.
There is something else. Oh, Welly Bob. I should say this as well. I can't believe I've forgotten this already. Welly Bob, bless his heart, sent over a monitor because he bought himself a new monitor, which he also bought from our Amazon affiliate links. So double bubble there. Thank you very much for using our affiliated links. He bought himself a new Samsung Odyssey G7 4K 28-inch monitor. And as he knows that I've already got a Lenovo L28U, I think that's the model number, L28U30 I think to be precise, he actually had one as well. And he was surprised. He's like, oh, you got one the same as me? I had no idea he had one. So he's actually sent his old Lenovo monitor over to us. So I can actually put 2 monitors side by side, 2 matching monitors. I've never, ever been able to do that with any of my PC setups. So hopefully that is going to be that push I need to get my desk figured out once and for all. But it's actually over there at the moment. This is a stupid thing. I actually had my Thermaltake monitor, my 165Hz Thermaltake monitor, which is an absolutely cracking monitor, and I've taken it off the desk to put on the Lenovo. But there is something about 4K screens. I don't know what it is. I think my eyesight is rubbish. It really is rubbish. But there's just something about the clarity of a 4K screen, which once you've used 4K for a little while, it's really hard to go back to 1440p. For gaming, it doesn't make a difference at all, I don't think. But for actually visual stuff, for using Photoshop, for using Premiere, web pages, just the text, everything looks so much sharper. And even my son come down earlier on, and I was watching Adamant IT, their live stream. The windows separated, so one half there, doing some work on one side, stuff on the other side, you know the deal. And George goes, wow, that looks really sharp. Have you got some sort of scaling on there? It's like, or sharpening. It's like, no, it's just, that is a 4K monitor. It just looks great. So thank you very much, Weddy Bob. Much appreciado. And hopefully at some point I will actually figure it out and get it so I've got both monitors there. Because it is actually still frustrating to have like Discord, Adobe Premiere, some web pages, maybe email as well.
You just need to have,
and just have to keep on switching between them, or have half and half. Half and half isn't too bad, but with Premiere you really need to have that full screen, otherwise the editing timeline is just awful. So if someone's on the Discord and I get a ping, it's like, right, stop that, go back to that. It's like, it'd be really nice just to be able to carry on working, and if there's a ping I can just cast my eyes to the side. Yeah, it's okay. I can actually ignore that more than I was going to. I have got portable monitors, but with portable monitors, they would have to be at the moment set up as portrait, which I'm still not keen on doing. And also because the monitors would have to be on the flippy out doors of my desk, mounting a big monitor to a flip out door is a recipe for disaster, I think. But I'm still, yeah. It's still very much a work in progress. Those desks have been a blessing and a curse, because they're really nice and neat, because you can just close all the doors and at the end of the night it's all gone, it's disappeared. But it still is limited of what you can actually physically put on your desk. So hopefully we'll fix it. Alexa says, how can you see text on a 4K screen? Everything is too small for me on 1440p. I went back to 1080p. Well, again, my eyesight isn't brilliant, so if you're using a 4K 28-inch screen, Windows will automatically try and say your scaling should be 150%. So that's what it seems to do. You just plug it in and it automatically sets the scaling to 150%. And for me, it's 4K 150% scaling is basically the same as 1440p on a 28-inch screen with 125% scaling. Or at least it seems the same. I don't know. I get confused. I miss the days of just having SVGA and like 1440 by 768 and just everything 100% scaling. Those days are sadly gone. 1280 by 1024. Come on. 4:3 resolutions. They were where it was at. They really were. Raleigh says, I'm using 4K 27-inch at 1440p and a scale of 100%. That is still quite small text. I think 27-inch at 1440p. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Matthew Day says, I'm 1080p 24, so that'll be 100% scaling. That'll look really nice as well. I think 24-inch is a really nice sweet spot for 1080p. So actually, let me know in the chat. Let's get the chat momentum going. Let me know, first of all, what your resolution is and what your current scaling is. I'll be interested to see what people are using. And I wonder who's got the biggest. And also, I wonder who's got the smallest. It's not all about size. So Ugly Bob's at 27-inch, 1440p, 120 Hz. That's nice. We'll see what other people have got. Whilst you're typing in all that, that's a great opportunity for me to start getting this motherboard out and see if this fecker actually works. Because if it doesn't, I'm back to square one. Zero defects is at 4K, 150%, same as me. Aletta's 1080p, 165 Hz on a 32-inch monitor. That text must be, I expect the postman can read that from outside the door.
But I can't.
Charles is using 43-inch 4K from TCL. Now that is something I have actually considered, using a 43-inch TV in 4K. That must be nice. Dave's using 27-inch 1440p 100% and 1080p 24-inch 100%. Okay. Sky's using ultra wide 150%. That probably works out well actually for ultra wide. Welly Bob 4K 28-inch and 42-inch 150% scaling. I think most people, if you're at 4K, are going to be having kind of 150% scaling. I think that is nice. Otherwise, it just looks too small. James is using 1440p on a 27, 1080p on a 24, both 100% scaling. I think that's the way it should be, really. Danielle's using a 27-inch, 3 of them, 1440p, 100% scaling. Mark Berry's a 43-inch, 60 Hz, 144. Christ, that's a big monitor. Rob's got a 32-inch, 1440p, 100% scaling. That's Jan. Got a triple monitor set up on the go there. 2 at 1080p, 24-inch, 1 at 22-inch. Oh, 100% scaling. Barbaric Disdain, or Disdain. 32-inch, 3440 by 1440, 140 Hz. Nice. At 100% scaling. Ordinary Dude, 3 times 32-inch 4Ks. 100% most of the time, but will increase the scale if needed. I think 32-inch 4K 100% scaling is actually probably okay-ish. I think I could get away with that. Maybe 125%. I do like to have the text a little bit bigger. David Thompson's got 3 27 inches at 1080p. Lovely jubbly. Viali 100 says I went from 4K 28-inch up to 1440p 32-inch. Mike P's got a 4K 52-inch with 225% scaling. Again, helpful so the postman can read your screen as he comes to deliver your mail. It's probably not that bad actually. David Underhill's got 1440p 32-inch and another 32-inch 4K plus a lot of 1080p screens. Barry Cartwright's 32-inch curved, 2560 by 1440, 100% scaling. Mookie MC monochrome CRT with green P1 phosphor screen is the best. I think I had it at a resolution of 10 by 10. Oh dear. Wow. Barbaric Disdain says token monitors. I'm an old man and found an old CRT in the attic. I forgot how heavy they were. Nearly ended up in A&E lifting it. Oh god, CRT monitors. Oh, nightmare. Right, let's see if our motherboard works, shall we? This is our Amazon warehouse bargain. Although technically it's only a bargain if it feckin' works. If it doesn't work, then we're up a certain creek without a certain instrument. Let me just grab a processor. Yes, please. So, what parts do I need? A cup. 2 guys, 1 cup.
CPU.
Oh, night, Jason. It chokes my tea then. Oh. Pain. I wish these pains would go away. Sorry, I've got to drink this down because Cal's making another one. Barry Cartwright says I have the the B550F Gaming. That's the black version of this. It's very similar design. William Bodie says, did not understand, what did Mike say? 2 guys, 1 cup.
CPU.
Many years ago there was an online phenomenon known as 2 girls, 1 cup. And there's another YouTuber which some of you may know and I know, and they've got a podcast called Two Guys Talk Tech. And one day, Kath said to me, "What are you watching?" And I kind of, at that time, was a little bit oblivious because I was getting my cup of tea. And I turn around and says, "Oh, it's Two Guys, One Cup," which is clearly wrong, but gives connotations of a certain other thing that happened to another YouTuber's podcast. And then it became Two Guys, One CPU, and yeah. It's just one of those stupid things which just tickled me, and it's a very stupid, immature thing. But hey, I like stupid and immature. If any of you watch that other person, don't worry, it's fine. Your secret's safe. Oh dear. I need to buy some UK plugs because I've got a load of bloody foreign leads. Actually, I'm not allowed to say foreign, am I? I should say European.
I've learned for a long time in this channel, but I'd like to thank you for all the great reviews, how-tos, etc. Been very helpful.
Who said that?
Welly Bob can't stop laughing. Barbaric.
Barbaric Disdain says, "I've lurked for a long time in this channel. I'd like to thank you for all your great reviews. How-tos been very helpful." You are very welcome. Oh, that hurt my shoulder.
Oh. We don't get out much, Welly Bob.
We don't actually get out at all. So yeah, the Two Guys One Cup thing,
One CPU.
and then CPU is cup, is an anagram of cup. So. Oh dear. It's a shame Kath doesn't want to be involved in this, like on this side of the camera, because then it could be, actually no, it wouldn't be two guys then, would it be? No, we couldn't write in. I'll have to get George or something down here.
Davy Jones.
Actually, I need to get the overhead camera on this, don't I? Let's do the unboxing and see what this is all about. I've taken the sellotape off so we can see what's actually in it.
Actually, let's do Gers.
Alright, let's do Gers. Gers! Where is Gers?
Second from bottom.
Gers.
Row and above.
Row and above. Oh, let's do it in order then. So, Rohan, or Rowan, or Rohan.
It's Rowan,
Rowan.
I think.
All right.
Because that's what Sean's son was called.
Rowan has a question. "I got the MSI B550 Tomahawk thanks to your video about it, and thanks for your BIOS video as well." You're welcome. I really like making the BIOS videos. I know it's basically exactly the same video over and over and over and over again, but I remember what it was like when I first got a PC, and it was terrifying because there's like a load of money in these little electrical parts in front of me, and I didn't have a clue what was going on. And back then, I would have loved for there to have been a thing called YouTube that I could just go online and type in a question, like, how do I update my MSI motherboard BIOS? And for it to come down with all these different opportunities of people to learn from. Now, obviously, like anything, there's some people that do the videos like in the 60 seconds, and it's like, get the file, download the file, put it on this USB thing, put it in your motherboard, press a button, you're done. But it ain't always as easy as that. And I found that out myself, because it isn't. People keep on saying, why don't you make these videos quicker? It's a very simple thing to do. It's like, yes, it is, but if you don't follow those little logical processes, if it goes wrong, or if it doesn't do what you're expecting at some point, how do you know what you've done wrong? So that's why I deliberately go through the video in great depth over about 10-15 minutes and explain this is what you're doing, this is why you're doing it, this is why you're doing it in this logical order, and these are the things to look out for, and this is what might happen if you've done something wrong, or this is how to recover it. And I actually like doing that because I watch a lot of videos myself, especially on like how-to things, and it's like they go through it in a very small amount of depth, and then I try and do it, and it's like, well, why is this not working? Then you work it out for yourself a little bit more, get a bit more information, and then I'll generally make another video and saying, well, this is how to do this because I've learned in the past that doing XYZ sometimes ends in this, and blah blah blah. You get the idea. Anyway, that's what I do.
Move that before you spill it, babe.
Okay. Okay.
Hold on, Nabes.
Hugh Luttrell says, hi all, I can still see a picture of Mike and hear you. It's a little weird. Have I got that look on my face like, have I farted? Gur's question. I have a MSI B450 motherboard. I'm considering upgrading to an MSI B550 Gaming Plus. Is it worth it or stay on the B450? That is a very difficult question to answer. Because without knowing what other parts you've got, what you're planning to upgrade to, there isn't a huge amount of difference between the B450 and B550 in terms of performance. But the very small little increments down through the chain, so if you've got a processor which could run a little bit faster on a B550, if you've got RAM which could run a little bit faster on a B550, if you've got a graphics card which could run a little bit faster on a B550, all of those little things can add up to be a much bigger thing. But in general, if you've got a system which is working, it's on a B450, you're happy with it, it works, there isn't really a lot of benefit in going to a B550, other than sometimes, especially with MSI, will be things like you'll get better RAM support and you'll get that glorious, glorious addressable RGB. If that is a big thing for you, then hey, go for it. While Bill says, hey, why aren't your lips moving? Is the stream stopped or something?
I think it has for some, but not others.
Press F5. Refresh.
Well, because you've got that CPU.
William Bodie says, looks like I'm not the only one where the stream froze. Is it because I said 2 guys, 1 cup?
Welly Bob says he needs a big cup.
That is a big cup. David Aiken says, stream didn't crash for me. Oh, I get you for the big cup. Oh, you got you. Ugh. Ugly Bob, Alt F4. Don't do Alt F4, that close it. Actually, yeah, do that because then it's another view when you open it back up. Well, Bill says, I have a question, but let me get a whiskey first. BRB. Okay. Lukey666, currently on ASRock B450M Pro 4, an MSI B550M Pro VDH Wi-Fi, and ASUS Tough Gaming B550 Plus Wi-Fi 2, and an old Gigabyte Z270 with a Pentium in it I use for entertainment system. That's a pretty diverse system you got there. That's a right ecosystem. Aletta says, forget B550, make the jump to a good X570 instead. To be honest with you, if you're on a B450 at the moment, and you have your mind set on an upgrade, I would be seriously considering AM5. The prices are starting to get similar for motherboards. They're not the same, but they are getting similar. So yeah, it might be worth doing. Right, let's have a look at the overhead camera, see if this actually works. There's a link in the chat for premiumcdkeys.com/Mike's Unboxing.
Okay.
Yep. Did they all startled?
Yeah, I think we're both asleep.
Oh, I woke the cats up.
Oh,
That's
so
a cat. That's like catnip. Overhead camera. Overhead camera working. Woo! Okay, so let's have a look and see what we've got in this thing of boards. The mother of... Fuck me, that's all. You don't put enough milk in. You put too much hot water and not enough milk. I've noticed that a couple of times. I put a lot more milk in, especially that cup.
We get through 4 pints of milk every day.
I'm like a miniature cow. Right, there we go. Anyway, so the ROG Strix. Can't get the right angle. There we go. ROG Strix B550-A Gaming. So as I said, this is an Amazon thing. It's even got the sticker on there. That to me looks like an official ASUS warranty sticker. I'm pretty sure I've seen those before. The packaging itself actually looks to be in pretty decent nick. And it's got the specifications on the back. Nothing too outrageous. You've got 14 team power stages. So those are using a doubler. So technically it's seven stages for the VRM. 2.5 gig Ethernet, BIOS flashback button. No doubt there'll be a video. Dual M.2 heatsinks. So let's see what we get. Dun dun dun. Right. So they said it'll be missing cables and missing screws. So we have one SATA cable. We have two SATA cables. I'm not doing that anymore. We've got another two SATA cables. So that is 4 SATA cables. And, oh, we've got another 2 SATA cables. So there's 6 SATA cables. I'm stopping. Bob's giving away Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How-To memberships.
We can't see this now, can we?
Can, kind of. There you go. Yeah, that looks all right. So, Barbaric Disdain was gifted a membership by Ugly Bob. Thank you. Wild Bill. Wild Boar was gifted a membership by Ugly Bob. Joe G was also gifted a membership by Ugly Bob. Chris Hartford was gifted a membership by Ugly Bob. And Scooter26 was also gifted a membership by Ugly Bob. Thank you very much. The legend that is Ugly Bobicus. Zero Defect says, I hope he gets more SATA cables. Needs more SATA cables. I know. I really do. So there is that looks like, yeah. So there's half of an AM4 stroke AM5 mounting bracket. We have an ASUS safety information leaflet. We have the oh so important ROG Strix stickers. Got some stickers. We have the ROG Strix B550-A Gaming Quick Start Guide. We also have something else which is somewhat of a rarity these days. A ROG Strix B550-A Gaming User Guide. A printed manual. Who'd have thunk it? Awesome. There is a motherboard technical update. What have they done? So they must have printed this wrong at some point. And they've done it. So previously, ground 5 volts, minus. So previously they described one of the ATX power pins as being a floating rather than being a minus 5 volts. Big deal. What else we got? Some other motherboard technical update BS. We get a round circular thing for, I don't know, drawing circles with. Not sure what you'd use this for. It's apparently a doved room. No idea what that is. If anybody knows what that is, let me know what that is in the comments.
I think it's a coaster.
I think it is one of those special coasters, like the ones we got from Overclockers that created UK. This one looks a bit nicer quality though, plastic, rather than card.
I don't think you can scratch these.
It's a frisbee, apparently. Patrick the Bell says, I don't mind buying an AM4 open box, but the first AM5 I tried had bent socket pins. We've been there. Willie Bob says, it's optical trickery, Mike. Ah.
Cat toy. Oh, George fell on a CD when he was little.
Cat toy. It could be a cat toy. Right, this is the moment of truth. Actually, is there any other things in here? It doesn't seem that there is. So it would appear there are definitely no M.2 screws, which is somewhat unfortunate because I kind of like using M.2 drives because they're very nice. Right, let me put this away. Don't need any of that. Don't think we're going to need the AM5 or stroke AM4 retention bracket. If anybody in the chat, or if anybody knows anybody who needs an AM5 retention black bracket and doesn't have one, or is missing just one, let me know. Ugly Bob says the dove is a mirror you put on the floor when you're shaving your taint. Thank you for that, Bob. If anybody who's not sure what a taint is, do Google it.
Think this,
Or-
think that.
Or rather don't. So this is the motherboard. Let's just do it that way. That probably makes more sense to most of you. So we have the ROG Strix branding. I'm pretty sure this lights up RGB around here somewhere. There's the heatsink on there, which looks slightly angled, but I think that is a design thing. Big heatsink over the VRM here and also here. 14 plus 1 phases of VRM. 4 memory slots, so that's going to support up to 128 gigabytes of RAM. AM4 socket, which all looks okay. It doesn't look like it's been actually used at all.
Integrated IO shield.
It does have an integrated IO shield, and actually a very nice looking one.
That's a big word for me.
It was. The board looks a bit bent, but hey, never mind. So BIOS flashback button, which still clicks. Actually a lot of USB on here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 USB ports. Well, 7 technically, plus a USB Type-C. The Type-C on here is going to be, I think that's going to be 10 gigabit per second, rather than the 20 gigabit per second. Those are going to be USB Super Speed, the blue one, so 5 gigabit per second. 2.5 gig LAN, DisplayPort, HDMI, and not a particularly good audio subset on here, but it does have optical, and you do have 5 outputs for 7.1 analog, so that's okay. Now, it doesn't appear to be any signs of damage, or actually even any signs of use, to be honest with you.
That board looks thin.
It is quite a thin board. It's only going to be a 4-layer PCB. It's not a 6-layer, which is one of the cost-saving measures on the lower-end boards. Even though this has got a Strix logo on it, it's only Strix in the fact that it's got loads of bling. It doesn't have loads of power, unfortunately. Although it's got a reasonable VRM, so not too bad. So PCI Express Gen 4 times 4 on the top slot, I'm guessing. 16 times 4 here. These are all going to be PCI Express Gen 3 at best. So that is going to be, I think they're all, that's a times 4. That's times 1, times 1, times 1. And also there's another M.2 down the bottom there. That's probably going to be PCI Express Gen 3 times 4, I would have thought. Coming off the chipset. And pretty much all of those are going to be from the chipset as well. Don't appear to have any bent pins as such, that I can tell.
Yeah.
But we'll soon figure that out. Fortunately, this board does have something which is very important, which is the digital diagnostic LEDs on the side there, so we can see if it's racked or not. Are the M.2 hold downs integrated? That is.
And M.2 screws under the heatsink panel.
Let's have a look. Let's find out what we're going to get. I'm hoping they're pre-installed and that some kind person's left them there. Or someone has ordered this board, stolen the M.2 brackets, the holders, and returned the board. So, right. So that in itself is a reasonably good sign, I think.
Kelly Enlow, I subscribe because I really like the humour of your community.
Thank you very much for the subscription. That is much appreciated. We do try and have a bit of a laugh. Life's too short. So, the top slot has never been used by the looks of it. So that has never been peeled off. Sadly, there are no M.2 pillars there. So that isn't the end of the world, because I think, have some in my magical box of tricks. I think. So in here, have I got M.2 standoffs? No,
Zoom in on it, see.
I haven't. Because they're going to be in my... Huh?
Zoom in on your box to see.
The last time I had an ASUS board, I actually bought this. So this is a screw set, which actually looks like those are the actual ones that would have come with this board.
doesn't look like it's got a USB 3.
It's only got USB 3 Type A port connector.
USB-C.
Yeah, doesn't have a front USB Type C, which actually isn't that uncommon for a B550 class motherboard. Some newer revisions often had it, but you got to think when B550 came out originally is what, 5 years ago now. So things have changed an awful lot in 5 years. And also you have to bear in mind we've actually now got an entirely new socket. And sorry, just dropped something. Yeah, we've got an entirely new socket, new platform altogether. This is kind of old now.
Wild Bill.
Well, Bill, I'm running an R7 5700X at the moment. Can I fit an R1500? No issues. Yes, you can. Yeah, if you're running a 5700X, running a 5800X is going to give you no issues. Arguably not much benefit either. I would be tempted to stay with a 5700X. You won't see a big difference there at all. Captain White's with us. How you doing, it, Captain White? And there was something else there I saw. Viali 100 says that has a 6-layer PCB mic. Are you sure? That looks way too slim. I don't think I can count them, but I suppose it might do, but it does look very thin. But if that's what it says, that's what it says. Are you looking at the right board? Because there's a lot of different varieties of this. This is the B550-A Gaming ROG Strix. Actually, I think it says it on the... Normally they'd say that on the box. Seems very thin though. USB, blah blah blah. Nope. I was right about the PCI Express slots. They are PCI Express ×3. Supporting X4 mode and X1. Yeah, it doesn't mention it on there. Nick Barr says, I thought they were all 6-layer. I don't know, maybe they are. Maybe it's just me being dumb. Happens. Hugh Luttrell says you can buy a Type C add-in card for around $25. Oh yeah, definitely. Dave says about the passage of time there. Yes, it is pretty scary stuff. Right, I'm not going to put that on yet. I'm actually going to put that back into place. Let's see what the other slot shows us. Because you never know. The person who previously ordered this board or used it, well, it doesn't look like it's been used because there doesn't seem to be a single bit of dust on it. But if it's been to ASUS for RMA, then I don't know, maybe it's on a new socket or something. Please be some M.2s under here. And oh, well, that's definitely been used, and I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick up on that, but someone's left all kinds of eyebrows or pubes on it. The dirty bastards. Can you actually see that?
How can you have that many?
Fucking eyebrows on it or something.
Eyebrows.
What the hell?
Why would there eyebrows be on it?
Well, maybe they're a bit simple. Eyebrows. They do like stick them on both. I bet that's what they did. I know exactly why this board was RMA'd now. They never wanted a PC. They wanted to go to some bloody Star Trek convention as some kind of freaking alien, and they're like, oh, I am Vulcan. You did take an eyebrow out. That's exactly what happened.
At least they didn't grate cheese on it.
Well, I hope whatever cosplay wearing swine at this board enjoyed their time.
Ball bros.
Ball bros.
That's deep. You put those ball bros on your head.
I did actually just put someone else's ball brows on my eyebrows. Ooh. I might not start Sprite out ginger or something. Somebody was using it with the DVD. They quite possibly were. Oh dear. Well, at least we've cleared up this. We haven't, have we really? Let's be fair. Right, so I need to fire this up. So I'm going to put on a... Apparently this is 5000 series ready. So fortunately, being that we are in the community of excellent people, here is a processor which came from... I've got to try to think now. Why do I always... Andy Archer. This was sent from Andy Archer. And did I just... Oh, I thought I just bent a pin then. So this is a 5600X. And let's get this on. I've been so used to installing Intel and AM5 processors recently that actually putting one of these in now almost seems quite hard to do. So I have to remember that it goes sideways in. There we go. So used to putting it so the Ryzen reads the right way round. There we go. We are off to the races, almost.
Check that chip for pubes, mate.
Check the chip for pubes. It's got Andy Archer's pubes on it. He's also gone to some cosplay thing. He probably hasn't.
So what is that DVD? Just a normal DVD in there?
Yeah.
Play it. Got anything to play it on?
It's got nothing on. It's not a DVD. It's a DVD-ROM with data. Mostly drivers and ting.
Is there any proper one to do with board?
Is that my computer?
No, mine.
Good, because I turned mine off. That would be like quite scary. So we've got our our RAS RAM, whatever that means. Let's stick that in. So we're going to want A2 and B2. This actually feels really heavy. Maybe I'm just getting old.
Need a GPU with that.
I will need a GPU with that.
I'm getting confused what I'm doing now. Got no desk.
It's actually quite nice installing DDR4 because the pins, the divider pin is in actually like the proper place, whereas DDR5 looks just so like close to what the other side is. This motherboard has DTS on board. Does it? Better get it a doctor.
Says you.
Installation stuff for people who like to keep it right, okay. So, down in discount waxing services. I want to show that on the screen, but I can't, can I? Easily.
I can send it to you to Discord, but can you show Discord?
Can't, not really. YouTube needs to add that so you can actually show stuff like pictures in the stream easily. Right, we've got a RAM, we've got our CPU. Now, technically, the CPU, arguably, it does work because Andy Archer sent it. But we don't know for 100% sure. The motherboard, we've got no idea if it works. The RAM, again, no idea whatsoever. So we're going to get two parts on this, which I actually know definitely work. One of which is going to be the old faithful.
Buy one bro, get one free.
The MSI Aero ITX, which doesn't require any power. Well, it does require some power, but it's all supplied from the PCI Express bus. So we'll stick that in. I look after this card, something rotten. I even put all the covers back on whenever I've finished using it. Those will work. Good, good. we have a graphic adapter. So we want some cooling, because I don't really want to fire up the processor without any cooling. So very recently I sold an AM5 system, and the guy who bought it didn't want any of the packaging. He's like, oh no, get rid of all that. I said, well, if you need it for warranty or anything. He's like, no, it's fine, don't worry, just chuck it all. So, yeah. So I've actually managed to keep hold of a AMD Spire CPU cooler, which actually is probably the worst thing possible that I could be using, especially in this instance, because I want something quick and simple, which I can just place over the top, really. I don't know if I can do that sideways. No, that's not going to fit. So I just need a block of metal on there, really, just so I can have a post situation. So let's have a look, see what we've got behind the magic door. We don't actually have a magic door, I'm making that bit up. But if you want to believe it, it's fine. Actually, I should have a magic door. Ah, there's my magic. Oh, that's not a magic door either. That's just a bloody fan.
That's what Angel had on the Christmas list when she was about
Yeah,
3 or 4.
she wanted that magic door.
She wanted a room through her wardrobe that was a cinema.
Right.
Santa got her that.
So I've got this low profile number, which is still not going to... I'm going to take the screws off. I've been faffing around with this for way too long. Today, currently, we are working in a temperature of 24.7 degrees Celsius at a current humidity of 50% humidity. So it is basically like a summer's day in here right now.
I've got a cat on my lap to keep me warm in case it cools down.
Right,
It's
got
cloudy.
a little crappy thing of cooling paste there.
What's wrong?
Don't know why I'm putting cooling paste on there, but
So would you have to use cooling paste when you wore those things on your eyebrows?
no, because they've got cooling pads built into them. No, not cool. Right, this doesn't really need to have any real pressure on it, because I'm only going to try and get to possibly the BIOS screen. And CPU header is likely to be that one. At least that's the one I'm going to go with. So let's get the main camera on. And I'm going to move my cup of tea because it is absolutely scalding hot.
Oh, shut up,
Kath's not put enough milk in it.
Do you want some more milk?
Oh, it's too hot.
Don't you... Silly.
I don't want to burn my throat.
Ah,
I have to use my voice on the interweb. If I don't have a voice, I don't have a channel.
it's your tongue you burn, not your voice.
Yeah, I know. Right. Aletta says that's a summer day. A summer day is often 33 degrees Celsius, 90% humidity. That's horrible. That sounds like the sort of weather they have in Ohio. Right, let's try not to get myself electrocuted.
Ugly Bob says your tongue is your money maker.
It is. That is until AI comes in and takes my job. There's no way AI could be so stupid as me and potentially entertaining. But we'll see. CPU. Don't need anything else. That'll be fine. Oh, tell you what, if I take the power supply out, that'll be handy. I love this little power supply. I think this power supply has been in more videos than, I don't know. So maybe it's been in, actually it's probably been in more videos than my SanDisk USB BIOS flash tool. ROM stick thing. This has been in almost everything. It's very nice, but it smells. One of the, I'm not sure, but I think one of the capacitors isn't quite right. It's got a bit of a sort of burnt fish smell. which is very common if you have a capacitor which is either leaked or burnt. But it seems to work, so I still keep on using it. I did actually say to Thermaltake, I said, look, I've got this power supply. It absolutely stinks. I'm not sure what's wrong with it, but it stinks. I didn't even bother saying if it worked or nothing. I just said it stinks. He said, don't worry, we'll send you another one. There weren't even any questions about it of like, oh, what happened to it? What have you done with it? Blah, 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 blah. It was just like, no worries, send you another one. Bless you, Thermaltake, for not being dicks. Oh, that's true. Because the thing is, with the actual hell do you think you're doing?
Oh, don't be mean, little Dave.
Right, Dave.
He likes tech.
This is Dave. Dave the cat. You alright, bud?
Oh, did he wave?
Yeah. Wave to the people. Can you wave? Can you wave? No? Okay.
Oh, he wants to be up.
You can't, because this is delicate stuff now. And imagine going to Amazon to their returns thing and saying, yeah, I'd like to arm this board, please. What's wrong with it? Well, Dave the cat accidentally put his dinger through the socket.
Don't do things like that.
How am I going to explain that to Amazon?
You won't have to, because he wouldn't do that.
It's unlikely. For this particular adventure, I'm going to fire up the old heck of a tea monitor. Many thanks to Ugly Bob for sending this bad boy in. I do look after this stuff. I pack it away absolutely amazingly properly after every use. Because in here, there's a lot of things that go on, and you never quite know
Which cat it is.
Yeah, you just don't know which cat's going to kill your stuff. And being there's 6 of them to keep an eye on, it's hard work. Okay, burnt fish, pubes, and 2 guys, 1 CPU. You can't get this kind of entertainment anywhere else. Fortunately. So we want USB type C. And, oh. Why am I a dipstick at times? I went into that box. Why am I dipstick more times than not? I could have swore I had the HDMI cable in my hand then, but I didn't. I just had another USB cable. And I put the HDMI cable back in the box. Some of you may know that the actual working studio area we have here is very, very compact, to say the very least. So that is part of the reason why we have to try and keep on top of keeping things tidy and in order, because otherwise it would just turn into an absolute shambles. Right. Do 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 do.
Let's let Mama in.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Right, move that over there, that over there. Screw drive.
Beep, beep, beep. Good girl. Beep, beep. Shut the window.
Okay. Let's try and get this into some kind of manner so that you lot can actually see it, which hopefully you can there. Excellent stuff. So, actually, do you want to open that window for a little bit? Or
No, I can't with them.
it's fucking boiling. It is ridiculously hot here. And I got a great idea. Let's turn on another computer.
Bang!
Knob head. I could have swore I saw some lights, but it was just the rainbow stuff. Oh, we lost the stream for a second there. The signal went. That wall socket is going to be the bane of my existence, I swear. Okay, so.
So did that ruin it? Did that not show my bang?
No, your bang was missing. So I'm going to put on the BIOS speaker LED, just for shits and giggles, which goes on that one there, I think. Speaker. Yeah, speaker goes there. I think we're ready. So let's fire it up and see what happens. Well, it's powered up. That's a good sign. We've got some LEDs going on there.
Bang!
It seems to be going through the cycle.
reckon the neighbours can hear that.
Probably. In theory, it should reboot a couple of times because it's doing the RAM training. There was a beep. I'm not sure where it came from. I'm hoping it come from the BIOS speaker. So we have got an error. What is that error? Oh, is it still going through something? Right, we have got two LEDs on the board lit up, which I'll give you the overhead camera. So you can just about see, hopefully. There are two LEDs lit up there. So you've got the top one in green, and they got one in blue. White. The other blue. So that is...
That error is no monitor.
So we got boot and VGA. So you're absolutely right, that is no VGA.
Okay.
No VGA. So that could mean many, many things. First one it's going to mean is, let's turn off the power supply. And we'll reinsert that. And actually, I'm going to use the other... Oh, balls. Put that away now, aren't I? I'm going to use the other cable that I've got to power the monitor in case for some reason that USB Type-C isn't happy. Wouldn't it be funny if we just had a dead port? Thank you for the super chat from Colin Hilton. Sent us £20. Thank you very much for the donation, Mr. Hilton.
By PayPal, not.
By PayPal, just to so you guys know. That's why it's not on the screen. Thank you, Colin.
Mabes, I like a drink now.
Right, let's see if this works now.
Making me a bit drowsy in there.
That graphics card's got a lot of wobble to it. So fire that up again, let's see what happens now. So RAM has been initialized, we've got a single beep, which normally means post OK. So it looked like it was trying to give an output, but for some reason doesn't appear to be. So let's unplug the USB Type-C. We'll give that another go. Give it another shot. Hopefully I haven't damaged this monitor. So we've got the Huggity logo. Beep, 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 beep. So that's 4 beeps. So that is no VGA. How can that be no VGA? There is actually a graphics card in there. So this has been allegedly tested. I'm not sure if this graphics card will even work on a ×4 slot, because I think it's wired for ×16. Tell you what, let's clean those off. Let's give those a wipe down. Actually, what are we doing? Let's just do what we normally do. If in doubt, lick it. Thank you. We'll try this in here one more time, just to make sure. Still don't feel very snug, but what the hell. Disconnect the mains before putting in a card. Let's see what happens. Hopefully we don't get the same thing again. So you can't really see the diagnostic LEDs there. Single beep, so that is normally a good post. Hey! What do you know? I licked the slot and it worked. We have a display thank you very much. We have a post. How many times have I done this in a stream where I've actually licked a component and it's magically started working? Magical spit. I told you, Kath, my mouth and my voice is my thing. Mike's tongue is a game changer. Exactly.
Do you want your ergonomic bottle opener?
I do not want my ergonomic bottle opener, thank you. I haven't even seen what this says on the screen yet. So we detected a new processor which will change the data structure of the storage space for firmware TPM. If you did not apply TPM function, please press Y to continue. Otherwise, please follow the instructions below. Press Y to reset FTPM. If you have BitLocker or encryption enabled, the system will not boot without a recovery key. Press N to keep the previous FTPM, and yeah. So basically, press Y to continue. Here's the short answer there. So in theory now, if I unplug keyboard and plug that into one of these USBs, and we press Y, and we press Y. Oh, come on. There we go. We press Y numerous times. So now it should reboot and go into the BIOS screen. Barbaric Disdain says, that's what you call tech. I'm off to lick my wife and see if she'll fire up and put the kettle on. Oh dear.
That's me.
No, I don't. Ordinary Dude says, disable FTPM. I would, but unfortunately I want to put Windows 11 on here at some point. So I'm guessing at some point now we've got a screen. What does that say? Oh. New CPU installed, press F11, F1. And hopefully we get a BIOS screen. There we go, BIOS screen ahoy. And is it recognizing all of our RAM? And we are on BIOS version 3002. So I'm not too sure how old that is. It says the 23rd of the 2nd, 2023. That's a lot of 2s and a lot of 3s in there. 02, 23, 20, 23. That's almost the same backwards and forwards and stuff.
Can I ask a little bit of an off? Is B650M Aurorus Elite AX mid-range? For Georgie.
Who's asking that? George?
Georgie.
Georgie. Oh, off unplugged thing. I would say it's upper mid-range. It's not high-end, but it isn't an entry-level board by any means, and it isn't a mid-range board as such. It's slightly above that. It's got a few extra nice features. Why have I not got that? I can't see that question.
It's quite far up. I'm a bit behind.
I can't see where that question is.
Is
Was that our George?
not our Georgie.
Oh, no. Yeah, Georgie Arleno. Arleno? Sorry if I butchered your name. Yeah, I've just bought the ATX version of that for our son's PC.
No wonder you're getting.
And it's slightly above mid-range. I wouldn't say it's mid-range, because mid-range I think would be the entry-level B650 chipsets, and arguably some of the higher-end A620s. Some of those higher-end A620s are quite firmly into the mid-range, so I would say it's kind of upper mid-range. You're kind of 3/5 of the way to the top, I think. If that makes any sense. But anyway, this is working, and actually, it still surprised me actually how sharp this screen is. Our CPU is currently running at 49 degrees Celsius, so probably don't want to stay here too long, but the RAM is detected. 16 gigs of RAM. Happy days. So it works. Hurrah! Lick your motherboards, everybody, and lick your graphics cards. BIOS version 3002. Right. I will need to update that. But it's definitely working, so I'm happy. And also, it also shows that the BIOS speaker is an absolutely fantastic tool. The amount of times that people come onto our Discord and they have a problem with their computer and they ask, like, what's wrong? and they haven't got a diagnostic LED. If you haven't got a diagnostic LED, the only thing that's going to ever help you out, other than having loads of parts, is a BIOS speaker. So definitely get one, put it into your kit, and try to convince your friends to get one. If you haven't got any friends, just convince somebody on the bus. There's a super chat from Baloo with 4 Aussie dollars. Thank you very much. Much appreciated, Baloo.
Maybe show it now. It's light.
I want to be like you. Ooh, ooh.
Maybe show it now. It's light.
Show what?
That thing.
Oh, yeah.
Got a black jumper on.
BIOS speaker. This is a BIOS speaker. You can tell that because it says speaker on the connection. Buy yourself a BIOS speaker. Buy a pack of 10. Put them in every PC you build. And if they ever go wrong, you'll know. Because someone will be on the phone to you saying, that PC I bought from you, I turn it on and it just bleeps 3 times and does nothing. You go for 3 times, well, that is the memory controller. Take the memory out and put it back in again. Very, very handy thing to do. Very much. Matthew Day says, I like to have the beeper anyway, just for that reassuring single beep. Hell yes. And in fact, I'm going to put this in my PC behind me. Because I do love that beep. I haven't put one on this one. It is going to look a bit awful in there, but whatever. I can tuck it down. I'll tuck it in like he did in Silence of the Lambs. Me.
Is that a Bristolian accent?
Yarp. It is a Bristolian accent. I hope so.
That's not a speaker, that's a beeper.
Technically it's a speaker because it says speaker on it, and going back to, well, harking back to the days of the very early PCs, you could actually use that speaker in DOS and you could actually get a tune out of it. You could program it to actually make music. So,
What, like you could Nokia?
yeah, it's not far off that. Nokia would have been a bit better.
How many times did I make you change my tune?
Andy Archer says, what cooler are you going to use, Mike? One of those from Amazon. That is a very good question. The 3600X is, I think, is a 95 watt part. So it doesn't need an absolutely crazy amount of CPU cooling to keep it moderately warm. Cool. You know what I mean. So it doesn't need a great deal to keep it going. So I did get those 2 CPU coolers, which are buried under here somewhere. The Enermax, was it? EPS or something? I can't remember what brand it was. But I've got 2 of those, so potentially I might use one of those. I was also considering, because depending on what case this goes in, I would quite like to put an Arctic Freezer 34 on it. But I'm not too sure if I will or not. I don't know. Viali Runner says, yay, Mike has a decent ASUS Mobo. I got 2. There's an ASUS motherboard in there. That's got the ASUS B650 Tough Gaming Wi-Fi. Andy Archer says the 120 AIO. I haven't got a 120 AIO. Bathonian here. Ah, tough enough. In good old Barf. Yes, Kath.
Arthur and sobriety. 2 questions.
Arthur, what's better to take, the ASRock B650 M Pro RS Wi-Fi or ASRock PG Riptide? I think the Riptide is the better board, but I don't really think there's a great deal between them. I think it's more the I/O, so it's going to be a case of what your preferences are, what you need out of your sockets and your USBs. I don't think there's anything really. There's not really anything in there which is going to be like, oh, this is a deal breaker. They're both based on the same chipset, as far as I know. They're just configured slightly differently. And what was the other question?
Sobriety underneath.
Sobriety.
What should I get?
Sobriety is rad. 33. The Ryzen 5 3600 is better than the i5 9400F. Right. I would have thought so. Probably, if anything, just because of PCI Express Gen 4 support. But I honestly don't know. I wouldn't imagine there's a huge night and day difference between them, but I could be absolutely wrong. If anybody out there's got a 9400F, or has had a 9400F, and has had a Ryzen 3600, let us know. Ugly Bob says the 3400F is more compatible or comparable with the AMD 3400. Rick H, Mike, I've bought 30 of those speakers off Amazon for $10. Excellent stuff.
Sobriety, Ryzen 5 3600 is better than i5 9400F.
Yeah, we just did that.
Oh,
Yeah. Bloody hell, it's hot.
Oh yeah, there's Rick's, because I thought it was Skystalker said he paid the same. Was it $30? Skystalker said about the same further up.
Oh, did he?
Speakers, yeah.
Okay.
But Canadian, obviously.
Yeah. The BOS speakers are awesome. They really are. I would say there is a significant increase in people on our Discord that are having
Patrick gets it
kind
totally.
what?
It looks like that monitor is going to fall off the table. And that's how you always leave things.
I don't always leave things like
You do.
Just-
your phone, everything.
just most of the time.
Fringe.
Chris Hartford's in the house. How you doing, Chris Hartford? Chris Hartford, you were awarded earlier a Mike's Unboxing membership. I don't think you were here for it when... was it Bob who gave those out, or was it us? I can't remember. Not that it makes any difference, but
Yes, thanks, Bob.
it was Bob. Bob gave you a month's membership, so now you have to go and watch all the videos early. Which actually is more beneficial to me than it is to you, because you early access people get to see all the things that I mess up. So if there's something in the video which I've done wrong, you can warn me in advance, so I don't look like a complete plum when it goes out to the general public. Although, to be fair, this is going to jinx myself completely now, but I don't think I can remember in recent times there's been a video I've had to pull and redo, or to re-edit, because I've done something wrong. I think in terms of editing and catching the mistakes early, I've done a pretty good job recently. Not to blow my own trumpet, but sometimes you have to a little bit, especially when it's things like that, because it's not easy. Kath and me do a lot of bloody work here, and getting a video out every single day, well, every weekday, and the live stream, and actually trying to have a life of our own, which, to be honest with you, that is the bit we fail at miserably. But yeah, I think we do a pretty bloody good job, all things considered. Like 100,000 subs, a video every day, getting better numbers than the majority of our peers with similar sized channels. And we don't have an editor, we don't have a script writer, hell, we don't even have a cleaner. Don't have our own studio. We still keep on doing it. Must want our fucking heads read.
It's driving Poppy mad. She's having to rip that box to shreds now.
Viali says, good, you both enjoy it. I never said anything about enjoying it. It's work. Nobody enjoys work. But there's levels of enjoyment that we are prepared to tolerate. That was a paraphrase from The Matrix. To be honest with you, enjoy it is a really hard thing to say. Because you know, it's like any job, no matter what it is you do, even if it was your absolute dream job, there'd still be days where you'd be like, oh God, I go to work. It happens to us all. Normally it's when I'm trying to get a CPU cooler off, like this.
You need two guys to help you.
I need two guys in a cup. Charles Ballard says, I'm happier now than I was a year ago, work-wise, I mean. Good, I'm glad to hear it. To be honest with you, I am, in general, I'm pretty happy with what we do here. Like anything, there's frustrations. We live in like a traditional 1930s, 3-bedroom house, which is small. And trying to actually...
But then a lot bigger than modern.
A lot bigger than modern, but trying to do a job at home is hard work. Like, you think of all you lot out there that had to do work from home during the old COVID lockdowns, and I'm sure there's some of you which were absolutely desperate trying to get back to work because of the frustrations of working from home.
Not so much that, it's you're easily distracted at home, because I worked from home when I had George's baby. As soon as he needed to feed him, I'd have to like stop, feed him, and...
The distraction factor is a thing.
And those 7 hours I did every day, actually it's 5 hours a day when it's 6 days a week.
Yeah.
But they turned into like...
Well, Bill says, was I gifted a month's membership? You were, sir, I think. Yes, you appear to have your name in green. So if you're in the chat and
I don't know if it is in the chat.
And your name is in blue,
right.
Then you are a moderator. If you're in the chat and your name is in green, that means you are a channel member. If your name is in white, you are a very much valued member of the community.
Brilliant.
Just too tight to take your hands in your pockets. Or you haven't been lucky enough to gain a membership. But it doesn't matter. Hey, the more memberships we get, the more the taxman gets, so don't worry about it. It's absolutely fine. And we appreciate you all as viewers just turning up, commenting and all that stuff. That is all we ask. And let's get these back in here.
Well, Bill, I think that was Ugly Bob as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that was Ugly Bob that did that one. What's the difference in colour around the stars? So if you've got a star after your name, that is because you are a paid member, and that star denotes how long you've actually been a member.
Doesn't matter. No, it's if you remember.
No, the stars change colour.
Yeah, but it's not a paid member. If
Oh
you're
yeah,
in it,
yeah,
get a star.
yeah. Basically,
Remember.
every month that goes by, your star changes colour, I believe.
But I think some people have won a second month, and their star will change colour with that
Yeah.
as well, won't it?
That's right, yeah.
It's
So
accumulative.
it is an accumulative effect on the colour of the stars. We have got the option actually to change those stars so they can be something else altogether.
Like what?
Well, we'd have to make up a GIF or something, yeah. But when it comes to that stuff, I'm not very good at that. I'm not very good at presenting videos, to be fair, but I have a stab at it. Nero's in the chat. How you doing, Nero? And Wild Bill. No, I don't think there's a brown star. Actually, I think the colours that Google have chosen have been Google's own colours, maybe with a bit of LBGT thrown in the mix as well. It's got a little bit of extra colour there. So luckily, the extra bag of screws, which I've got, I can put those in there so I can mount the M.2. This is going to be a cracking little build. I am very much looking forward to that. Just need to finalise what case is going to go in there. So that is where I'm going to need input from some of you to actually tell me what case you think I should go with next. Now, I don't want to go with a case that I've already used. That is one of the criteria of the whole thing. Yes, Kath?
Andy Archer.
Andy Archer. Ours just messaged to say they replaced the faulty PC after advice in the Discord. I can't remember that. Ours? There's a lot of ourses in the Discord at times. But that's great news. It's nice. I think I do remember that now. Very vaguely. Hi Kieran, how you doing? I'm not getting involved. I just lit the fuse paper and walking away. The stars are Lego stars. They might as well be. this is another point actually of why doing videos is actually hard work, because everything I do, I sort of have to pack away as well. So, like, most people would think like, oh, it's easy. You just grab a box, get a camera out, chuck it all on the floor, film it all, blah blah blah, job done. You're all good. But it's not. There's actually just as much preparation in actually getting like a filming area ready, as almost as much as there is as researching the product.
And then it's feeding time to Zoo just as you press record.
Oh god, yeah. Quite often that happens, and it's like just about to start filming, and one of the cats starts eating. They got these bells and stuff on their collar, and it clanks against the bowl, the cat bowl. So yeah, there's frustrations all round, but we try and live with it. We've got no choice really. Right, let's put some of these. Actually, I'll put those back later. It's too bloody hot to stand up. It is currently 24.5 degrees Celsius and 51% humidity, so it's getting slightly better.
What's all rallies at now?
What's O'Reilly's what?
Temperature.
O'Reilly, what is the temperature currently in your abode?
Food, I was going to say. You said it before I could get it out.
You were going to say abode as well.
Yeah.
Well done.
I knew you would.
Viali says, lovely, hotter the better. Hotter the better, I would entirely 100% agree with you. Other than the fact that I'm trying to do a bloody stream. And it does get hot.
I don't think it's our temperature in here. I think it's the PCs on and the light.
Yeah, there's two PCs
night,
on.
it's hot.
The studio light's been on for hours. Let us know, post in the comments the temperature in your room right now, the humidity if you know it, and even better if you know the ambient temperature outside, what the difference is, or what that actual ambient temperature is. Currently here in the UK, in the southwest, otherwise known as Bristol, it is currently, oh actually I've turned it off. No idea. What does it say on the top, on the bottom cornery thing, on the thing?
You don't believe that. 5 degrees it says.
So it's currently 5 degrees Celsius outside. It's basically 25 degrees Celsius inside. So that's a 20 degree
But on my
deficit.
phone it says 7
Or
degrees.
not deficit, the other one. It says how many?
7 on my phone. 5 on.
Well, Bill's got 4 degrees outside. O'Reilly's got 27.8 C and 38% humidity, and it's 6 degrees outside. Man's a lunatic, or a lizard, or AI. I'm not sure which one it is. Is many of those things. Delta, differential. That's it. Both of those things. Well done. So Neil Beaumont's at 18 degrees Celsius, 35% humidity. 6 degrees Celsius outside. Ugly Bob says, bloody hell, O'Reilly, that's hotter than Satan's taint. There's not a lot I can say about that really. David Underhill says humidity is 96%. That's basically underwater, isn't it? I don't understand relative humidity. I just don't understand it. What is the... You'd think that 100% humidity would be wet, like liquid.
It's that hot because sometimes it's so hot in here and it doesn't really go above 25, does it? And that's only this room. Let me have a look in the hallway how much it is.
Charles Ballard says it looks like it's 48 degrees Fahrenheit in the loo.
19 degrees in the hallway.
Yeah, it's 19 degrees in our hallway. And that's at basically plug socket level because we've got one of those plug-in doorbells and it tells the temperature. You'd think actually it'd tell the temperature outside as well, wouldn't it? Like flick between the two, being that it's connected to a bell, which is outside. That is like an easy thing, isn't it?
Come on, babe. You can do it.
That's like 2 guys, 1 cup then.
On boomerang.
Ah, dear. Hugh Luttrell says it's 36 degrees Fahrenheit here in Iowa, US. Still too chilly to stay outside for too long. So 38 degrees, that's minus something, isn't it? In Celsius. Or is it 20 something?
Where's that? Which country?
Iowa, USA.
Because Patrick said earlier it's snowing.
Yes, I did see that. Barry Cartwright says, I have an oversized hoodie that is my source of heat.
I have a cat. Or two.
O'Reilly says, basically humidity is the ability to evaporate. In near 100% humidity, a human body won't be able to perspire and therefore not cool down and die. Cool. Or not, as the case probably is. Well, Bill says 32 Fahrenheit is 0 degrees. Gotcha. Skystalker, he should know because he's a flightist, otherwise known as a pilot. 100% relative humidity equals the air is holding all the moisture it can at that temperature. I gotcha. Viali says his wife is on holiday in Salvador, Brazil. 28 degrees Celsius at 5 AM this morning. Ouch.
That's nice.
I don't know. It's alright if you're used to it. I think if you go from like a cold snap to that.
What's the hottest time? What is it in like midday?
It's probably got to be the 40s, isn't it? Riley says the giant crystal cave of Mexico, it's 50 degrees Celsius and has a humidity of 100%. Less than a couple of hundred people have been inside, and it's so deadly that even with respirators and suits of ice, you can only survive for 20 minutes before your body starts to fail. Ooh. That's terrifying, isn't it? Better than being in space, though. If you ever manage to escape the flat disk that is Earth. Okay, case suggestions. So I'm going to write these down. Actually, I need a thing. Actually, I can look them up on my phone, can't I? So what was the one that Dave said first of all? Was it the Montec 903? Montec 903 Max. How much is that currently? $69.99. Nice.
Bob will want that one.
Bob wants that. Yeah, that is almost a dead ringer of the Colink Observatory ATX, I think. Montec Air 903. 903 Max. 135 quid on Amazon. You shove that. Montec Air Base. 58 quid used on eBay. Yeah, I think that is a possibility. I keep on getting emails from Montec saying, would you like to review our cases? And I keep on replying and they don't reply back.
Probably goes to spam.
I think a lot of it is, there's a weird thing with our email, and I should have kind of looked into it before we started the channel. So apparently boxing, other than being a thing where two people beat the living crap out of each other, is also a construction thing. So you do some sort of construction with, you box in stuff, I guess, I don't know. But people used to always send us emails saying, oh, would you like to buy these steel rods at wholesale prices? And I'd be like, I'd be like copied in on a whole bunch of different companies, and it was all like JPL Construction, blah, blah, blah. Loads of different construction companies, and then it'd be like Mike's Unboxing. And I was like, this is very weird. So I think at some point, the Mike's Unboxing domain has got a little bit confused along the way. So I think we get blocked by a lot of emails. Anyway, such is life. Oracle Man says the Fractal North. Not new, but great. Okay. I've not done that one yet, so that's got potential.
Somebody said Montec Sky 2.
Sky 2. Montec seems to be coming up quite a lot here.
Why don't you email Montec on a different email?
Yeah, I might do actually.
Their email.
How much is a Fantex Eclipse P360A case these days? I'm not too sure actually. Let's have a quick look. Montec. Viali says that Sahara Gaming P480 Plus is nice. It is, but it's just, I think it's got a very weird shape to it. The whole 480 thing of having like 4 120mm fans in any direction just seems really bizarre to me. Seems like it's just too stretched in terms of dimensions. Rick H says Cooler Master Masterbox Q300L. Rick, you being facetious. Me and the Q300L have issues. Montec Pro 95. Pro 95. Oh, the King 95. Is that the one? Yeah, the King 95 is interesting. I like the curved glass, but I don't at the same time. I think the curved glass actually makes it look more like a fish tank than it actually should do. And there's all these videos like, why does everybody want the Montec King 95? But I don't think everyone does. It's a good case and it's at a very good price and it's got a lot of nice features. But that rounded glass seems to be a very common thing that people are trying to do now. And I actually wish they wouldn't. I would quite like to see the more angular, the join. So it doesn't look like a fish tank, it looks more like a PC.
But fish tanks aren't really that rounded, are they? They're usually. Fish bowl, you mean?
Yeah, fish, yeah. Mike P says I found the Montec Air RGB, nice PC. I bought one for my daughter's bedroom. David says you need a better email. Yeah, I do. Inky says I love my NZXT H6 Flow. Last Man Standing UK, hi. How you doing? No worries, Rick. Lian Lee Evo. What's the Lian Lee Evo? Is that the 011 Dynamic Evo King thing? Lian Lee Evo. Evo RG. Yeah, there's so many different versions, isn't there? 011D. Little bit outside of the price range, really. I have seen actually MSI do the MSI Mag Pano M100. Ah, that's Micro ATX, ball dust. That's not going to work. So if I go to Stream Desktop, you can see there. So there's the Mag Pano M100R. That's actually quite a nice looking case. It's got some interesting angles there. Pretty nice. It's on pre-order at the moment, but that is only Micro ATX, I think, which is going to be limiting to say the least. But that's one going to be on the old back burner.
Who's that?
The MSI Mag Pano. I'm sure they asked me to review that ages ago. I said no.
But now we say yes.
Now we say yes because I haven't got any cases.
The man from movie say yes.
The one I really want to get, actually, this is probably a little bit more than the price range that I want to be spending.
Do you want another drink?
Yes, please.
You drank it?
I'm not sure. I probably haven't.
I can't see from here. She's got a fish tank cup.
Got a fish tank face. Right. Yes. Right, hang on. Oh, I got George's question on the bloody screen still.
You don't, do you?
Yeah. No, I don't. It's brand new. not touched it. Right, this is the case I actually really want, and this goes to show where I was talking about with the other case just now. So this is the Thermaltake View 270 TG, and they do it in a load of colours. Well, 4 at the moment. You got the Hydrangea blue. That's nuts. I do quite like that. Matcha green. I don't know about matcha. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about matcha? Mr. Rainbows Love Coffee. How you doing? Says, hello, I am new here. Just subscribed. Thank you very much for subscribing to our channel. And welcome. Last Man Standing says, it matcha your face. I don't know about the matcha green. They do a lot of in this, and I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe. With this, I think the snow is nice, but I actually really like the black. I think that's actually quite a nice looking case. So you've got 360mm rad on top, which is a prerequisite. You've got the 2 fans on the side, which is always a nice look. You can have 3 fans on the bottom with the old updraft going on to keep your GPU cool. And an exhaust on the rear, which you can have as intake or exhaust if you wanted to. I like that. I really like the dimensions of it. It's not massive. It's a relatively small case. And there's some really fine mesh ventilation on the bottom as well, if you do want that under airflow thing going on. My only consideration about this is on the side where the fans are going to go here, that pinhole looks on the small side, but having said that, looking closer, it looks very similar to what's on the Series 300, and it actually works quite well. But worst case scenario, Dremel the bejesus out of that.
Rick likes the blue.
It's definitely got some potential. I think it's a nice design, and it's not massive. It's a normal ATX size case.
Kids.
Some limitations, you can't do a vertically mounted GPU, but I don't know, maybe you wouldn't really want to in that case. But yeah, I think that's a really nice looking case. Dual tempered glass. The only thing I would possibly have wanted is maybe a little bit more height. So you can have 3 120mm fans on the side and a little bit more clearance at the top where the fans are, because if you look here, oh, you can't see it there. It's going to be hard work getting to your cables at the top when you've got a radiator and fans there. You're going to have to really struggle to get to those connections.
How much is it?
That, Mr. Barnes, is a very good question.
And last one standing, did you get your 4080S?
No, the 4080S still eludes me. I haven't spoken to Scan Computers since. I've been waiting for them to see if they get back to me. I don't think they will. I almost bought a 4080 Super from Amazon this week. I was umming and ahhing. Sorry, Kath?
I'm talking to Maisie.
Andy Archer says it looks a tad close to the GPU at the bottom. It is, but that's because you've got the fans at the bottom as well. You don't necessarily need those there. And especially if you don't have a massively big GPU to cool. Some like Thermaltake. I'm pretty sure that Thermaltake case is about 80 quid. But I think it's still on pre-order at the moment. Actually, yeah, Thermaltake View at Scan Computers. Is that got any personal information? No, we're good. So $79.99, due in on the 13th of May, pre-order. So I think 80 quid isn't necessarily cheap, and you only get 1 fan with it. But it's nice that you get it's a 140mm fan that can fit at the back, which isn't always the case. Sometimes you can only put a 120 in the back, so that means you've got a bit of extra headroom there for larger CPU coolers if you wanted to. So yeah, I think that's quite understated, and it's more about what is inside it rather than the case itself. trying to take the centre stage. So I think 80 quid doesn't seem overly expensive. Nick Barnes says it's refreshing to see a slim case instead of a twin chamber. Yeah, I agree. Paolo says, looks like that Ions KZVF Ultra Ether you reviewed a few weeks ago. There's a lot of cases, all with like really kind of similar-ish designs at the moment, which I think is probably a good thing in some respects, but it's, I don't know, it'd just be nice to see something a little bit different. Matthew Day saying the Ions KZ T22 curved panoramic. I'll have a look. Like I said, I'm not overly keen on the curves. KZ, where are we? I do need to speak to Ions actually, because Ions is a very weird company. Every now and then they'll send an email saying, Mike, do you want to do some case reviews? It's like, okay. And they'll send a list of like about 7 or 8 cases and say, well, which ones do you want to review? And technically I'll probably want to do all of them because it's just nice to keep on having stuff to video. But then they send them all at the same time and it's like, I can't move in the house.
But lots of cat's beds.
Many cat's beds. So yeah, and then I don't hear nothing from him for ages. And then suddenly they're like, email again. Oh, are you still doing case reviews? It's like, yeah. Actually, yeah, the VF Ultra, I was looking at now, yeah, Ions KZ VF Ultra Ether is basically the same case, isn't it? As the Thermaltake one. There's a few slight differences, but yeah, overall very similar indeed. The IO's mounted in a different place, and that's 70 quid as well. Well, 67 quid. I would argue, in general, that Thermaltake cases are a little bit higher quality than your kind of mid-range or mid-tier stuff. Yeah, KZ22, that's what we're looking at, isn't it? Well, we weren't, but gonna. 89 quid. Holy bejeebers. Oh, God. Yeah, that just looks... That is a proper fish tank. It's an actual thing. You could put fish in there and they definitely wouldn't look out of place. So hopefully you can, guys and girls can see that. So that is proper, like, 1970s, early 1980s tropical fish tank. It's just become the rage. Everyone's got tropical fish at home. That thing full of tiger barbs and neons in platies.
Glass stickers of tiger bomb barbs and neons stick on it. And a bit of seaweed.
The dual chamber dream. I don't know. It's kind of cool, but at the same time it just looks just so wrong. I actually quite like it from that angle. Like the end on. And considering how big it is, like this section on the end doesn't really give you any benefits at all, other than the fact of how it looks. And you can almost see, if you follow that line where my magnifying glass is there, you can almost see where they've just essentially just slapped that curved bit on the front from what would otherwise be a flat case. There's a definite seam all the way down through that. Kind of see it there more so. So yeah, I think if there was a flat nose version of that, I'd probably prefer it. Looks chunky. Mark Berry says you can get an F15 Game Max for 66 quid. I wouldn't mind that. Oh, James's power went out. Sorry to hear that. That's Jan, that's an ugly case. Don't hold back, mind, Jan. Just say what you think. We're all friends here. So yeah, I think the ions maybe not for me. Sorry. Different, but yeah. Andy Archer says you need one with a built-in side screen, but that's going to add a lot of money to it, isn't it? A lot of cost. It would be nice for here, like for behind me, but for other things, yeah, maybe not so much. Tony Ward says check out the pyramid style case I posted in the general chat of your Discord. I will do. I haven't got Discord on there, so I can't check it out at the moment. Sorry. Yeah. Go on then. Calf's scrolling now. Hopefully my eyesight will see across to that other side. You never know. William Bodie says, look up the MSI Mag Pano. We did look at that first of all. I've actually got it on the...
Like a triangle?
Ah, yeah. That's pretty nuts, isn't it? That is actually bizarre. I don't want bizarre cases, I want normal cases. So, yeah. There you go, William Bodie. That was the one we looked at first of all, but it's on pre-order, so... I said they did... they've actually asked me to review that. And they were going to send out the Project Zero motherboard to go with it. But I don't know why at the time I said no. I don't know why I said that. There must have been a reason for it, and I can't think why. Or was it? Did I say no to that, or did I say no? No, sorry, I didn't say no to that. I said no. I wanted this. They said to me, we'll send you the Pano Glass and the Project Zero motherboard for review. It's like, fantastic. Really looking forward to seeing that. And then after that, they said, oh, we've got a monitor, a new OLED monitor coming out. Can you do a review on it? And I was like, well, what's the specs? And they told me the specs and price. And it's like, best part of £1,000. It was like, even if it's £800, maybe even £600, I said, like, realistically, yes, it's very cool and very nice to look at, but ultimately, I probably wouldn't buy it at that money. And I think the majority of the viewers of the channel are more into the kind of getting good value for money and bargains and discounts. A 600 quid monitor, probably going to do great on the channel, and I probably wouldn't be able to do it justice because I don't know what I would look for in a monitor of that sort of price point. So I said, look, thank you very much, but I'm going to decline your offer on this one. And I haven't heard anything from them since, so whether I've been I've shadow banned myself from MSI, I think, which is a shame, because I really do love their stuff. But yeah, their marketing team is a little bit bizarre, I think. The communication's a little bit weird. At least it has been for me. Maybe it's because I just say what I think, rather than going, oh yes, please, Mr. MSI. Fractal North Chalk White. Let's have a look then. Fractal North. My nephew has just bought one of those, actually. The North.
Clicky button.
Hmm?
It's got a clicky button.
Yeah, it's got a clicky button. You don't like it? Where are we? Chalk White. Fractal Design North XL. Sorry, you can't even see it, can you? Fractal Design North. I just looked at that and thought, that's actually not bad. 75 quid. Then I realised there's a 1 in front of it. 175 quid. It has not even got glass. What's going wrong with the world? I know that's the XL one, but... William Bodie says, look at the MagForge 100M. I think I've done the MagForge 100M. Forge. I know, I've done the 100R. Actually, no, I haven't done the 100R. Yeah, 100M. Yeah, I have done that one. Yeah, I did quite like that. I think some of MSI's cases, especially some of the older ones, are a little bit more expensive than what they should be. Like the 320R Airflow, like 70 quid. I don't know. For a solid glass front, it's a bit much. David Underhill. No, who was I looking at? I was just reading one, then it moved quickly. Oh, Skystalker says, I just built in the GAMDS Apollo E3 Elite. It was $90 with fans included. Is that Canadian dollars or is that American freedom units? I do a Google search for I just bought the GAMDS Apollo. A lot of the GAMDS stuff you can't really get in the UK, or it's difficult. GAMDS, GameX in disguise. Let's have a look. Ooh.
Canadian dollars, he said.
Canadian freedom units. So that looks like a F15 GameX case with a different front panel. Is that mesh or glass on the front? Glass. With a little bit of intake there. Yeah, that has a lot of the F15 about it. Mind you, so it's any case with 200mm front fans. That's not a bad shout. Actually, I think the buttons on the top even look the same. Does that look the same as your buttons on your case?
I don't know, it's delayed.
It'll come up shortly. Actually, it won't, because you're ages away.
I can't fast forward it though.
I'm pretty sure that is exactly the same as the GameX F15 glass. Exactly the same. Got it. Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was the F15. Viali says, I prefer the Thermaltake one. I do, but it's... The thing is, when I'm building a PC, I kind of want it to show what can be done at a certain price point. So I don't like spending too much, especially if it's a case that I'm probably going to be selling on or doing something else with. If I'm keeping it for myself, my own purposes, then it's a little bit different. And I don't mind going slightly over. But for most cases, I generally like to be somewhere between, like if it's micro ATX, between sort of 30 and 50 quid ideally. If it's ATX, then somewhere between 40 and maybe 100 tops. Bit wider thing. But ideally for a nice ATX case, possibly with fans, I like to be around about the sort of 50, 60 quid mark at the most. I know it's hard to do these days because prices have changed like insanely, but that's kind of really where I want to be. So I think I've got to do a bit of research there and see what's about. Try and find some decent bargains somewhere. There's going to be some. I'm sure there will be. What about this case, the GameMax Hype? That's another one I haven't heard from for ages, GameMax. Like, 1 minute they're like, oh, can you do this, can you do that? And it's like, yeah, no, the worries, we're good. They're like, oh yeah, we really like your videos. You, I think it was the GameX F15 which really, for some reason, really took off the video. It's a great case, to be fair, but GameMax themselves said the amount of sales they got through that video link, or people watching the video, and they'd said like they've watched the video. They said like it was just incredible. But I think it was
the cock one, didn't they?
It was one of those, yeah. It was one of those times where I think that was getting towards going into COVID and all that, and the PC kind of boom time really kicked in. So that case come out, everyone was building PCs, it was a really good price, really good product. It was just it hit that magic time. But then they sent me the COC one, which I wasn't as impressed with, considerably, and I think that upset them as well. But I can only say what it is, like, there's no point in me lying. Right, oh yeah, the GameMax Hype, I gotcha. Another, that's a slightly different take on the previous thing we looked at, so let's have a look at that one, desktop stream. So that's the Hype in black. Yeah, I'm not too sure how I feel about that. I prefer that, I think, more than the curved. But I think that extra side piece there still says fish tank more so than if it was just square. But they're all trying to copy height, aren't they? But I guess it looks okay. But again, it's one of those very, very copycat type designs. And it even looks like a fish tank on top. It looks like you would lift the lid up and chuck some fish food in. It really does. It looks like a BioLife tank from the 90s.
That was a nice tank, mind.
Yeah, no offence to GameMax. None to BioLife, it was a great tank. But it was a fish tank, it wasn't a computer. I wonder if I could buy a BioLife tank and build a PC into it, and if anyone would know the difference.
You could get like one of those old
It's not a bad idea.
TV sets
Yeah,
and build a computer inside of it.
that's not a bad idea. Last Man Standing says, you've got a thing about fish tanks, haven't you, Mike? I have. Because it's like, they're a different product category. There's definitive lines between it. It's like, fish tank, PC. Fish tank, PC. Now I know the lines have been blurred at some points where people have done those underwater PCs where they've liquid cooled it in that mineral oil and they've combined a computer with a fish tank. But that was for like memes. It's not a real thing that people do for long term. It's just a meme. So to kind of try and get it even closer to that is a little bit weird. Nick Barnes says the Mars Gaming. That's another company, Mars Gaming. They've sent numerous emails, with all of which I've replied to, and they're like, "Oh yeah, thanks for replying, blah blah blah. We'll send you a list of cases," and then they don't. And I hate this chair. I need a more comfortable chair. Viali prefers the TT one. I do, really. I think the Thermaltake one covers the best of both worlds. Now I know that probably some of you think shield, because you do a lot of stuff with Thermaltake. It doesn't matter. I would say as it is. I don't like the CTE cases. I genuinely don't like them for myself, but I understand why people like them. So I just say it as it is. If companies don't like me saying what I feel, then I don't want to work with them anyway. To be fair, there's no point. I don't want to feel under pressure to say something which I don't feel. Roly Finger says, I blame Leanne Lee for making a case everyone copied. Leanne Lee have been... Yeah. It's weird how they've become kind of somewhat pioneers in the industry. And that people will always copy them. It's like those fans this week, if you watch the video from Sahara Gaming. The M12W fans, the 3-pack. Which actually, loads of people watch that video. It's a really popular video. Good reason, because the fans look almost identical to the SL120s from Leanne Lee. And actually, I've got some SL120s in a case here now. From Colin Hilton, I should add. Thank you very much. And yeah, the SL120s do look better. They're a nicer fan, much better quality, much better airflow and all that kind of stuff. But they're super expensive. So to have something which kind of emulates it on a lot of levels in terms of visually, but to be considerably cheaper to buy, like 30 quid with the discount code, like 30 quid for 3 fans which look like SL120s, you can't go wrong. No, sorry, it's not even SL120s, is it? It's the... Oh God, there's so many fans from... Is it LF120? SF120? I don't know. Whatever it was. I probably put the wrong thing on the video. Thinking about it now. They're basically like the mirror effect Leanne Lee fans. That's what I'm trying to say. David Under says, Leanne Lee 011 Vision. 3-sided TG. I am not buying another TG 3-sided case. No, 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 no. I want to escape having more than 2 panels. Ideally, I would prefer to have 1 panel on a PC. If it's a fish tank-esque looking one, I can accept 2. But I don't really think that there's any need for a PC to have more than one tempered glass side panel. Really. Like the Lian Li case, like putting tempered glass on the back side of the LAN Cool 3 is just ridiculous. And it actually hampers the PC. The LAN Cool 3 case would be a much, much better case, and also cheaper, if they didn't mess around with all that crap in the back for cable management and the glass panel, and just got rid of all that cable management nonsense, the flaps, and just have a normal back panel, a metal back panel. It would be a much better case. Because who looks at the back of a PC case? You don't ever look at the back of a PC case. Kath does. She's just being awkward.
I don't really.
But yeah, I think the part of the problem with the LAN Cool 3 and its weight is the fact that it's got two huge tempered glass windows, which it doesn't need. It could do with an aluminium back panel. It'd be a much better case. Bring back beige cases. Bring back the Commodore 64. Yeah, that's not beige, that's more brown. Anyway, we've just passed the 11 o'clock mark, so I think that is probably about time to wrap these things up. So I'll take a couple more last minute questions.
With things like Commodore 64, if they brought it back, and it would be so much better if you could just save games. Because you couldn't save a game in it, could you? You had to just start again every
The
time.
new version they have now, they've got a C64 Mini. You can save games, save states. You want one now, don't you? We will do that, get a Commodore 64 Mini and sit in the front room and just play it.
Yeah. Pitfall.
Manic Miner. No, that's Spectrum.
Um,
But Rogers, 3D.
didn't have
That on there? Commodore 64. What a console. Computer, I should say.
Gillian's Gold, or Gillian, how do you say it? Gillian's
William Bodie. Oh, not sure.
Jetpack Willie.
Question, what do you think about the Be Quiet Silent Base 601 MIDI tower tempered glass? I don't know. I would say I've not been a massive fan of Be Quiet cases, actually. I don't know why. There's no real reason for it. Just, yeah, Silent Base 601. It's a nice big case, but 150 quid. It's not bad.
Ghostbusters.
It's not bad, actually. Ghostbusters.
He's slimy.
Nick Barnes says, what about a used Optiplex case for a budget build? Oh, God. Right, we're going to have to look for more cases. The quest continues. So if you get any ideas for cases after this stream, pop them in the comments section after, and I'll whilst I'm at work tomorrow, I'll have a quick scan through and see what options there are, or post them on our Discord if you want to as well. What?
Discord.
Oh, I wonder what she was doing. I thought you were just like had a cramp and you were like limbering up. There's the Discord link in the chat, should you wish to do that. Mike P says, my first computer was the C64. My first computer I actually owned properly was a VIC-20. I think prior to that I had a Spectrum 48K, but it was something that I kind of swapped and then swapped back, so it wasn't really mine, but I had it for a short while. But yeah, the VIC-20, I love that. That was great. Last man standing, Vitro M05 pink compact computer case. Wow. Nick Barnes question, where are you going to use this case, or is it a flip build? Thinking of size limits. It's likely to be a flip. Very likely to be a flip. I do need to get rid of some stuff here, try and clear some room. Easiest way for me to clear some room is to sell a PC with all the associated boxes that come with it. So that takes away a huge pressure on us.
As long as they take the boxes.
As long as they take the boxes. Yeah. Anyway.
But then we ain't got to keep them if we haven't got the part, have we? So
That's true. That is true. There we go. I think that is... We're still there. Yep, that's it. Okay. I think that is pretty much it. Yeah. The clocks go back next weekend, so bear that in mind. So we might end the stream a little bit earlier next week, because the clocks will go forward a bit, and then I've got to get up for work the next day, so that's going to be even worse. And hell, I need my beauty sleep. So thank you all for joining us on this Saturday evening. Hope you've had some fun, a few laughs, maybe even learnt a few things. Hopefully you've bought some USB. Hopefully you've bought some BIOS speakers for your PC builds and for your own PC, so you can have that lovely Windows beep when it first turns on your computer. I do miss that. I'm glad I put that speaker back in there. So anyway, get some of those, have some fun, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Don't forget it's Easter as well next weekend, so don't forget to purchase your gifts for loved ones, etc. If you do, make sure you use the Amazon affiliate links.
Will you be open on that Sunday?
What, Easter Sunday?
Yeah.
It's just a bank holiday, isn't it?
I know, but they've been shutting for bank holidays recently.
Ooh.
Haven't they?
Technically, I might not be working next Sunday. I think I
I was
am.
thinking, I'm sure you would have seen it. by
It's
now,
Easter
but-
Sunday. They won't close for Easter, would they?
I don't know, they did for Boxing Day and stuff, didn't they?
Yeah, but it was only because he wanted a day off. No, wasn't a Sunday, was it? Anyway, to be continued.
Yeah.
Thanks all for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekends. Thank you for the super chats, donations, and kindness that you've shown us all over the whatever things. I'm running out of things to say now, so I'm just going to wrap it up. Don't forget, watch Two Guys One Cup next week, and then when you finish watching that, head over to the Mike's Unboxing channel and you can watch our stream as well. Gonna get myself into trouble. Anyway, have a good weekend, everybody. See you next week. Cheers for now.